I don't think there's been one.
I just hope he hasn't been renovating his house this week. He's had a couple of weeks where he's been painting and sanding.
Well, when he painted last,
he kicked 70.
He couldn't declare it to Joel. He told Tom, and Joel walked over and they said, "Shh, don't say anything." He still had half a kilo of paint hanging off his hands.
That's right.
Kicked 6 or 7 against the Kangas. So I think the matchup of Cameron, if you get it wrong, you bleed. So big job, whether it's Darcy Moore or Jeremy Howe. This is the matchup that matters in this game, and I think he'll be the best performer this weekend. Who you got?
He'll be the second best performer behind my man, who was All-Australian this year and so thoroughly deserving of that honour. Yes, I know. Just let me build up the profile of my man.
Gee.
All-Australian this year, a real jack in the box, a real dynamo. The next Dustin Martin. This man's about to take the crown. His name's Shea Bolton. He's kicked 41 goals for the year. He's kicked 41 behinds for the year. He's had 82 scoring shots as a small forward. And he's primed. He's kicked 1 goal last week, 1 goal the week before. I reckon he's ready to go bunter at the Gabba tonight. And I'm not sure the Lions have got anyone who's going to be able to stop him. If Dustin Martin plays full forward and Brandon Starcevic lines up alongside him, quality defender he is, I'm not sure they're going to be able to shackle Shea Bolton, who can pop up like a cat with a second's notice, Kingy, and make you look stupid.
Well, Andrews takes Lynch. Payne takes Cumberland. Gardner takes Rewalt. Starcevic takes Martin. So you got the first gamer in Wilmot down there.
Kitty Coleman? They won't want Kitty to play.
Kitty sort of was on him last time. It didn't go.
No, they need Kitty to create.
Didn't go very well.
No.
Daniel Rich doesn't tend to pick up too many. So then what do you got?
Well, you want someone. You want the cheapest suit in your locker on this man because you need to keep him under control.
You've done yours in a reverse sort of fashion. The man without a matchup. Shea.
He might be. But mind you, he's a bloody hard the data for the year would suggest he's a bloody hard matchup for everyone. So I love watching him, and I think he's primed for a big one tonight.
What's the best story of the weekend? Frame me the best one of these 4 games.
So if this was to happen, I think it would be amazing given the journey this guy's been on. And I think there wouldn't have been a person, I reckon only him in his inner circle, who wouldn't have written him off. Paddy McCartan takes a glut of intercept marks tomorrow, and as a result, the Swans roll the Demons.
Oh.
I mean, for everything he's been through, he was gone. He was on the canvas so many times. That's a bad analogy to make, but that's how serious his situation was.
Analogy.
It was awful. But
you saved your worst analogy for our final series.
The experts said he was right. Fingers crossed they continue to be right. And he's had a magnificent season. Good on Sydney for giving him a chance. He slots in the back half alongside his brother. And what a super player he's become down back. Everything they thought he would be at the other end, but he just takes that ball out of the air like he's picking cherries off a tree.
Second in the competition for intercept marks behind Tom Barrasso. The great nomination. I can't better that one. But in terms of what we've had to go through with the Dustin Martin story the last 24 hours and the second half of the season, just for this guy, just to get back out there and be a contributor is enough.
Who?
But what if he kicks 6?
Dusty.
What if Dusty kicks 6 tonight? What if he goes bang and everyone goes, oh, here he is again?
Recreates the grand final.
What if he kicks 6? Would there be a bigger story in football if he kicked 5 or 6 tonight?
No.
Whoa.
No, he's already a massive talking point off the field, on the field. If you would have thrown that on top of the discussion points, I wouldn't know where to go. We wouldn't know where to go. Surely he's not going to kick 6 tonight. You've been magnificent as always, Kingy. We'll revisit this next week, and I'm sure no shortage of talking points. It's week 1 of the finals. We can't wait for it, and finally the time has come. Stay with us. We're about to take you to the Gabba, Brisbane and Richmond in this magnificent elimination final. You've been listening to the picks for Bluebet's Quaddy Insurance, available at the Valley this Saturday. T's and C's apply, and gamble responsibly. If gambling does become an issue, call 1-800-858-858. Kingy, magnificent. Have a good night.
Good evening. The Muradoc Highway has reopened after a broken down train in Frankston. That was between Cranbourne Road and Hastings Road. Also, there are emergency gas works happening in Oakley. That's on Dandenong Road inbound at Atkinson Street. And the Westgate Freeway is slow between the Bolte Bridge and Burnley Tunnel. Does your dog need a dental checkup? Book with Green Cross Vets and save $40. Plus, a chance to win an annual membership to Healthy Pets Plus. Ends September 30. T's and C's apply. That's the latest SEN Sky Traffic.
The all-new SEN app. Download it today and never miss a moment of your favourite show. Streaming live, anywhere, anytime.
In 2022, Footy Fridays are on at the Sporting Globe Bar and Grill. Get your mates, experience an awesome atmosphere, and enjoy a Palmer and pint for just $25 with drink specials from 5 till 7 every Friday. The Sporting Globe is your home of footy. More than 50 screens showing every game across the 2022 season. Get down to your local, the home of sport, the Sporting Globe.
First call, first goal.
You won't find this kind of atmosphere on your couch. Head to thesportingglobe.com.au to find your local.
Find where you belong with Harcourts. Here's CEO Tony Morrison.
The only thing constant is change, especially in property management. From changes in legislation, interest rates, tenants' rights, if you're paying a property manager, they need to be all over it. At Harcourts, it's our mission to keep landlords and tenants informed and to ensure all expectations are met. It's another reason we've been around for over 130 years.
Visit harcourts.com.au and rest assured.
When you need the job done right, you want your pressure cleaner built like your team, tough and ready. Our brand new look Spitwater kicks the goals and gets the checkered flag every time by solving the problems the others can't. So when you're after the game changer, just reach for the tough and ready Spitwater pressure cleaner, made in Australia since 1982. Want to see the new Spitwater? Call 1-800-SPITWATER now or go to spitwater.com.au.
Hey, Nick Del Santo here. As a rookie, I was mentored by some of the best footy brains around. After all, you don't play over 300 games without starting somewhere. In business, it's easy to find a gun rookie. Just call MEGT. As Australia's largest and only national apprenticeship network provider, whether you're an employer who needs an apprentice or you're looking to kickstart your career as one, MEGT has you covered. MEGT, your career, your business, their job. Visit MEGT.com.au or call 13MEGT.
R.J. Sanderson and Associates are accountants, taxation specialists and business mentors. To win a business mentoring program, go to rjsanderson.com.au. Take the stress out of tax. rjsanderson.com.au.
The Monopoly game at Macca's is back, with $578 million in prizes to be won. Prizes like free fuel for a year with Ampol, a $10,000 Webjet gift card, and more. Download the My Macca's app and play today. Ends 18th of October. For full terms, visit mcdonalds.com.au.
Celebrate finals fever with a CBCO draft and SEN's The Run Home. Broadcasting live at the Empress Hotel tomorrow. Serving $5 pots and $10 pints of CBCO draft, Brownlow medalist Dane Swan is a special guest for a preview of the game and complimentary round of CBCO draft at the first bounce. The Run Home, 3 till 6 p.m. with CBCO draft at the Empress Hotel, Nicholson Street, Fitzroy North. Tomorrow. 18 plus only. Please drink responsibly.
They say every lawn is different, and that's true. But for landscapers, the solution is always the same. Install Rainbird. Backed by 80 years of irrigation innovation, easy to use with a massive range suitable for any job. From Tom's backyard to your local golf course to the MCG itself. So while every lawn is different, installing Rainbird gives you the same green results every time. Rainbird, the intelligent use of water. Learn more at rainbird.com.
Miss your favourite show? Want to catch up on an interview? Download and listen to every SEN podcast when you want it. Or on the SEN app.
After the siren with a dead eye shot. Where are you, buddy? There he is! He juggles the mark at the front. Ball to Springer, the magic man. He's done it again. Jake Springer, the everywhere man. He sets the chance to get through. Bontempelli! Simply the Bont! Gives it to Gord. Willie from 55. He will. He can. He does. He gave it to Dusty. Martin. Goal. Tigers in front. At the final bell, it's a brand new flag. 57 years of torment eased. And a curse lifted. Melbourne are premiers in 2021.
AFL Nation.
The start of the 2022 final series is upon us. After the dramatic pause of the bye, 4 matches about to roar to life. The first of which at a sold-out Gabba on a Thursday night. It ends immediately for one of the Lions or the Tigers. They have played big finals at this venue in recent times. They've played one of the home and away matches of the year. The sense is that Richmond are rolling into this final series and the Lions are barely holding it together. I wonder how that looks as they meet in this elimination final. The Tigers are first out onto the Gabba. travelled with plenty of their faithful, so they're well represented on the broadcast side of the ground in particular, but it will be an overwhelming Lions crowd by the time we get to the opening siren. Gerard Waitley with you. Anthony Hudson is with me. Hutto, we have called so much Gabba sport from the studio over the pandemic years. Here we are back on Vulture Street.
It's bloody good to be here, Gerard, I must say. It is just fantastic. You hearing me there?
Not really. I don't think we are. We'll fiddle. Oh, try once more.
You hearing me there?
No. Let's fiddle around there. We've gone for some local knowledge tonight. He grew up watching footy here at the Gabba. He played his days with Melbourne and Richmond. He's been on coaching staffs around the league, including the Giants and now out of the Suns. So right from the coach's box into the broadcast box, Brad Miller, it's great to have you as part of AFL Nation.
Gerard, it's fantastic to be here. Really excited for this one. It's going to be a fantastic game. Exciting teams. Both score differently, but both score quickly. So really excited. Can't wait for it.
Yes, it has a magnitude about it once you get to an elimination final, doesn't it?
It does. And the energy of the Gabba crowd, they're loud. I know Richmond supporters are really loud, but the Brisbane supporters actually, they provide some noise too, don't worry.
What's your sense? What's your sense of the state of the two teams?
Well, it's hard to go past the Tigers' form line. Their last month they've been electric, and Brisbane have sort of faltered a couple of times. So I'm leaning towards the Tigers, but who knows? Up here, Brisbane could get the start they want. They could be exciting at the start, get the crowd involved, and it might just put Richmond on the back foot. But I'm leaning towards the Tigers.
It's been some sort of day surrounding the Tigers that began on the front pages of the paper, and we're watching Dustin Martin out on the field at the moment go through his warm-ups. Tomorrow's car is available today. A selected range of Hyundai Tucsons, including the powerful fuel-efficient diesel all-wheel drive models, are in stock now, ready to drive away. Tech driver Tucson to see why tomorrow wants its car back. I think you're there.
Can you hear me, Gerard?
I can hear you.
Can. What I did try and say was it is very, very good to be back at the Gabba. It was delightful to come up a little earlier than you were able to this afternoon and just spend a little bit of time wandering around and getting ready for the weekend. In 23 beautiful degrees, Gerard, after the winter we've had, and which has extended well and truly. It is meant to be spring in Melbourne. It hasn't quite arrived. Well, it certainly has here. And it does set the scene for a magnificent night and a great final series ahead. And as you said, plenty of distractions for the Tigers. So, but not long for us before the ball is bounced. And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens in the first few minutes particularly and who sets the tone for the night.
It's a dramatic backdrop, isn't it? I mean, it was a final of great intrigue anyway, and then all that swirls around Richmond too. All there really has been throughout the day is a statement late in the piece while they've done their work, and a couple of officials have been speaking in the past hour or so. Yeah,
that's right. So, and that's the way, I guess. In a way, that's the way they probably have to handle it with it being so close to the start of the match. And as Damien Hardwick said, I think on one of the TVs late this afternoon, they have had to go through something similar previously in 2020, wasn't it, where they had a few dramas along the way and they were in some ways able to use it to galvanise. It might be a bit late in the piece to galvanise, but we'll see what impact it has, if any, tonight. The Lions are out now as well, and there's plenty of smoke, and I wonder if there's fire.
I wonder if there will be. Our pre-game show for Beaumont Tiles, supporting small to medium builders. Before we get stuck into the preview, let's set the tone. Let's get the odds, shall we? An odds update thanks to Sportsbet.
It's time for an odds update, thanks to Sportsbet. Sportsbet's bet with mates. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858.
It's the first final. We've got a Sportsbet market update for you. Richmond, they're coming in as favourites at $1.65 against Brisbane. They're at home $2.20, and that's because Richmond, they have won 17 of their last 19 matches against Brisbane. Now, don't forget the Gabba. It's a very high-scoring venue. 177.5 is that total points line there, and each of Richmond's last 12 home and away matches have finished over the total points line. And don't forget Brisbane, they're a very high scoring side as well. Now, for a little bit of value, Trent Cotchin, he's kicked a goal in 6 out of his last 7 matches against Brisbane at the Gabba, and that's paying $3.10. Tom Lynch, he's for 4 goals. He's kicked 4 goals in the last Richmond's 4 matches, that's paying at $3.20, but I've got a 3-leg same game multi for you. Hugh McCluggage for over 25, the over total points, and Richmond for the win, and it's $4.50 value. Don't forget, if you're having a little bit of trouble, 1-800-858-858, the gambling helpline. Good luck, punters. Enjoy this match, but please gamble responsibly.
All thanks to Sportsbet. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Let's hear from Damien Hardwick a short time ago on Fox Footy.
Oh, look, the boys are pretty good, obviously. Yeah, these things happen from time to time in footy clubs. We've dealt with a few issues prior, and we've dealt with more issues again at some stage. But the reality is the guys they just basically move on with it, if that makes sense. I was trying to look for a better word choice there, but I didn't get one out. But look, it's been a little bit of a distraction, but the fact of the matter is the guys are here to get a job done, as are we.
So that's the Damien Hardwick view of the Dustin Martin side of things. He was always going to be the centre of attention, and he is on a whole number of fronts. The number 4 as he prowls around on the Gabba, where he has feasted on the Lions.
He looks
previously
in pretty good nick out there, doesn't he? In terms of he looks trim.
We anticipate, Brad, that he'll spend a lot of his night forward.
I was just watching the Tigers warm up, and I didn't see him attend one centre bounce practice, so you would assume that he's going to spend a lot of time forward. He may switch over with Shai Bolton. They may spend a little bit of time there, but yeah, predominantly forward.
It feels like Bolton's, and he's clearly grown as a player, but he's grown in the absence of Dustin, playing a pretty similar role with that centre bounce and then going forward. As a coaching opposition coaching staff, how difficult is it to choose the right matchup for someone playing either Dustin or Shai Bolton with the attributes they have, and whether to try and hand over, or I imagine it's easier if you've got a player that can actually not hand over and can just play both rails?
It's really difficult. So Starcevic would be set for one of those two when they're in the forward line, but if they can both go to stoppage and change over, it's really hard for that type of player to blanket such a dangerous opposition. So yeah, their flexibility and both being able to start at stoppage and then streak forward become a really hard matchup for the coach's box.
Matthew Richardson, he still has such a command over the Tigers, faithful as he passes down below us, and the chant for Richo goes up. Our experts throughout the season have been dressed by Ringers Western. Ringers Western clothing looks great in the city and toughs it out on the land. These two teams are going through their warm-ups for Ream. Ask your plumber to install a Ream steady, hot and strong. Brad, can we pick your brain around styles and what we're likely to see as the Lions and the Tigers come together?
Yeah, as we mentioned at the start, they both play a really direct brand of footy, which is exciting. They average 24 disposals per goal, and they're 1 and 2 in that facet. So they both want to go long and direct, and they want to score quickly. And there's no surprise that they're both 1 and 2 in scores for as well. But they get it in different ways. So Brisbane are a stoppage team that rely on contested possession and stoppage, whereas the Tigers set themselves up for a turnover game. I think that's what frustrated them the last time. They couldn't get that game going in round 20 until the second half. They weren't able to produce the forward half turnovers that we're used to seeing from Richmond. So they had to defend a different way. So it'll be really interesting to see who gets the upper hand early. If the Brisbane stoppage game gets on their terms, obviously Lyons out is a big loss because he's 5.5 clearances that they're going to have to replace. So that puts a lot of onus on Lachie Neale.
So it puts even more onus on Lachie Neale, doesn't it? I mean, he's obviously a dominating player in the contest, both at the centre bounce and everywhere. And there's a fair gap in all the numbers to any other Brisbane player, and Jared Lyons is clear number 2 now. He's not there.
That's right. So it just puts so much on Lachie Neale's shoulders. Now, the Tigers don't tag, but it feels like they should, because with so much on Lachie Neale's shoulders, if you can shut him out, who's the next one up to replace those stoppage numbers?
Yeah, well, Robertson comes into the team and he gets an opportunity, and he hasn't had too many, really, has he? As a young WA boy that was overlooked on the first night of the draft, and then Brisbane snapped him up the second night. So he comes in and gets an opportunity. But, yeah, others are going to have to step up, aren't they?
Well, you'd look at Reece Matheson's going to spend some time in there, so he'll be one that they'll be looking to hopefully be able to produce those sorts of numbers. But, yeah, it's going to be fascinating.
The two forward lines, so it is such a night for the three pillars for the Lions is Joe Danaher, Eric Hipwood He's had a hard road back from the knee reconstruction, and Daniel McStay, if this goes south tonight, it'll be his last game
before he goes south.
Yes. So there is an element of now or never about it for them.
I think for both sides, like they average 12 marks each, so it's so hard to split their forward lines. They take 3.5 contested marks each, 12 marks each. They're both 1 and 2 for those stats. So
it's more what comes out, though, isn't it? I mean, their numbers for converting Brisbane, I think they're number 1 in the comp for per inside 50, but the ball comes out easily too, doesn't it?
That's right.
When they don't score,
they have to score. That's the thing, because they are so tall.
So whose responsibility? I mean, obviously they're tall. So one of those talls, at least, will hopefully all of them, has to apply some pressure. But is it who else then has to step up? Is it the mids getting forward and locking it in, or getting structures right, or is it those mediums putting on more pressure, I suppose?
It has to be the smalls. So Zorko's got a big responsibility. Charlie Cameron's got a big responsibility to hurry those Richmond defenders up.
Yeah.
Because if the ball hits the deck, and Charlie is really dangerous, he can obviously score from that part of the game. So it just becomes really critical for them to be able to keep it in their forward line and not transition and allow Richmond's speed and direct play off turnover to come into it. I think they become critical.
What have we made of the Lions' defence, which seemed all at sea against Melbourne a couple of weeks ago at this ground?
Yeah, they like to play really dominant. And Harris is a good example. He likes to get into a position where he can mark the ball and influence a contest. But if there's speed on the ball up the ground, he can get lost. So the Lynch matchup for him is going to be really interesting. Does he play in back shoulder, or does he try and stand in front and read where it's going? I think he's been exposed in the past on Tom by trying to play that way, so there may be a stage where he does actually go more hard one-on-one back shoulder and try and keep him in front of him.
And the Tigers' defence is they'll have to do it without Dylan Grimes, who's their pillar down there, but the hamstring injury costs him a chance at a final series. Have they got the pieces to quell the Lions if they do get hot?
I think they do. They've still got experience. Robbie Tarrant can blanket a tall. Nathan Broad plays taller than he actually is, and Nick Vlaston's obviously one of their key pillars down there, even though he's not overly tall. He's just so experienced and positions himself up so smartly that I do think that they can quell any sort of momentum in the game going the Lions' way through experience, through smarts, and through playing a lot of footy together.
Yes, the experience of the Tigers. I think that's what looms in this final series. It's been theorised for 2 weeks. We're about to see how it transpires. They've split their finals on this ground, 19 and 20. They split the halves at the MCG in their thrilling home and away match barely a month ago, and that was really the launching pad for the Tigers to straighten themselves out. They haven't been beaten since. They've earned the right for this place on the grid. They're 7th. They faced the Lions, who lived most of the year in the top 4 and certainly had aspirations around the top 2 for the first few months, but it has progressively gotten away from them. They don't have the players that they would like in attendance necessarily tonight. They're improvising, and how's that going to look against the Tigers? They've come over to the broadcast wing to observe the formalities. Nothing says finals like this moment, and it's entrusted to the Gabba crowd to set us off on the right tone in this series. We know there's going to be 80,000 plus at the MCG tomorrow night, 90,000 plus at the MCG on Saturday, and the Dockers, their first final at Optus Stadium is a sellout, 50,000 plus for what's to come on Saturday night as well. So they've got the honour here in Brisbane. It's been a hot ticket in town. Lots of Tigers fans have flown in for it. Culture Street and Stanley Street was buzzing, as we would really like to join the formalities here.
Owners of the land in which we meet tonight, and we pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Now, the AFL acknowledges playing this great game on this land. They respect the cultures of all First Peoples, their contribution to our nation and their contribution to Aussie rules football. Can I get you all to please turn your attentions to the big screen for the Welcome to Country.
factor of tribal experiences, and we are the unreturable Aboriginal Panthers of Brisbane City. We'd like to welcome you here to our country, to the place which we call Wollongabba, which means the whirling waterholes, but also fighting talk. It's where the teams will come to battle the final series. As they take the final, we welcome you to our land. We welcome you to the Gabba.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can I ask you to please rise, join with the coaches, the players and the umpires for the Australian National Anthem to be sung by Trent Bell.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden souls and wealth for all. Our home is goodbye seas. Our land. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains and let us sing. Advance Australia
Way to hold a note at the end of the national anthem. Unmissable moments for Drinkwise. Choose to drink wise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. Brad, who's a player who needs to fire up for barbecues galore? Barbecues galore, who's been on fire during finals.
The Lions are any chance, Harris has to contain Tom Lynch ahead of the ball. Kicked 4 goals in the second half last time they played. It's a critical matchup. For the Tigers, if Dusty can come in and do what he does, then, well, that gives him a chance.
That was for Barbecues Galore, who's been on fire during finals. The weather's been glorious. Hutto, you were here longer than I was. 17 degrees off the top of 23.
Yeah, it's come down 6 degrees. Disappointingly, Jared, is just magnificent. Anyone, of course, who's spent any time in Queensland knows how gorgeous it is from about 4 o'clock onwards, and it was that sort of typical day. And it should give way to a beautiful night here. No complaints, I don't think. Will be interesting to see if there is some cloud, so hopefully it won't be too greasy on the surface, but we'll find out soon enough, as Dane Zorko, who of course was the subject of plenty of attention himself just a couple of weeks ago, comes in to meet with Toby Nankervis as the skippers shake hands in the middle of the Gabba, getting ready for the opening bounce.
The Kubota cast for Kubota. Together we are shaping and building Australia. The ground is in terrific nick. You can make out the centre square. It's one of the few grounds left that has that quality. The ground report for Pope, the better way to water.
Toby Nankervis won the toss, and they'll kick to right of screen when you're watching on TV, or back towards the city end.
And our vantage point is a ripper in the coach's commentary box. For Coates, we're more than higher. We're equipped for anything. They've just got their countdown slightly out of sync. I suspect the players are still in their huddles as it reaches 0 and Sprawl's game on.
One thing, Brad. Sorry, Jared. One thing, Brad. I know Brisbane have a debutant in Darcy Wilmot, but Richmond still have a couple of really young players experiencing finals for the first time. So someone like Miller, who's sort of come in and played that backup ruck, and who's a defender and can go either end. It'll be interesting to see how someone like he goes tonight.
Absolutely. Tyler Sonsi's another one who's been in good form, but first time he's played in a final, how does he handle it?
The final word from Brad Miller, our expert for Shawl Unify, your national uniform and workwear experts.
Who wins, Brad?
I'm leaning towards the Tigers, Hutto. Can't go past them.
Yeah, they're an irresistible force when they get going in finals, and we are about to get going in finals in 2022. It's Richmond and Brisbane. McInerney has the physical size over Nankervis and he wins the tap. Robertson is flung around and it goes out towards Robinson. He's in amongst the crowd. He got a handball back and then Rioli came charging through and he gets gobbled up. Fierce stuff. Back the other way from Mitch Robinson and we'll have a ball up just forward of the wing.
Dusty out of the goal square.
Really interesting. Darcy Gardner's gone back with there. That's a key matchup.
Nankervis wins the tap out on the wing. Cochin's kick was smothered immediately. Lockie Neal, hand pass back to McCluggage. Was about to be tackled by Nankervis. Got the kick away. Charlie Cameron a long way up the ground. Hugs in the chest mark and then pauses, waits. He's right in front of his 4 teammates and the sub on the bench. As he kicks to half forward, he was trying to get it all the way through to McInerney, but it never arrived. And the mark is taken by Ross slipping in for the Tigers.
Ross lets fly back to half forward. Revolts in a grapple with a couple. He worked it clear and then hacked it out of midair. A long way, but out of bounds on the full.
Looks like these 2 Tigers forwards, Tom Lynch and Dusty Martin, are just adamant to take as much ground as they can, stretch those Lions defenders and put them in the goal square.
Rich from the defensive 50. Wheels inboard and lets fly down the wing. Awkward ball. Ross ran past it. Floston was able to gather it. Gave it away to Broad, kicks the Tigers forward. Charlie Cameron was there, dropped the mark, and then had his kick charged down by Prestia. The ricochet is out of bounds. 60 out from the Tigers' goal.
A throw in at half forward. No score so far. Still in the opening minutes. Nankervis front position. McInerney whacked it. Neil couldn't quite sonce. He's able to get onto it now. A bit of a blind handball. Put his teammate Nankervis under pressure. Hacked a kick inside. Starcevic couldn't take the mark. Had a good backup in Payne. Came through for the Lions. Searching kick. Broad was either going to mark it or let it go out on the full. He chose to mark it. And so he can reinsert the Tigers up towards the 50. The game has lived pretty much exclusively between that wing and half forward for Richmond so far. It's a lower, wider kick for Nankervis. Stayed up and about for Ross, though. He got up first and then delivered beautifully to Cochin, who had a couple of choices, and he plays it short for Rioli. Daniel Rioli, just inside the 50. They've worked right across from one flank to the other, getting just that little bit closer with each possession. And Rioli, who is capable, in fact, he loves a long goal.
A couple of players down here. Shea Bolton was down for a long period of time, and Oscar McInerney is surrounded by 3 trainers, worryingly, out near the interchange gates.
Yeah, you're right about that. I'm trying to work out what they're looking at there. Starcevic pops up there. Here's the kick from Rioli. It's wobbling, but it's straight, if that makes sense. And it does to Richmond fans. They have the opening goal.
So this is the game on the Tigers' terms. They've been able to generate 2 forward half turnovers through intercept marks, and away they go. They're able to penetrate going back the other way. But at this stage, Brisbane hasn't been able to get it over halfway.
It got absolutely stuck, didn't it? From the wing to half forward for the Tigers, and there was just nothing there for the Lions.
So this is what frustrated Damien Hardwick round 20 at the MCG. They weren't able to play this game. They couldn't get the forward half turnovers they were after, so they had to defend differently. At this stage, it's on the Tigers' terms.
First goal on the Tyre Power scoreboard, your trusted tyre experts. I feel like the start is just so important for the Lions tonight to try to harness the environment. Mind you, that Tiger roar tells you how many Richmond fans are either local to Brisbane or have filled the plains to be part of it. The bounce back in the middle. Nankervis took it out of the ruck, shuffled the hand pass near Prestia, didn't take it cleanly, wins it though the second time. Off to McIntosh on the wing. He's kicked in the Revolt direction. Payne made the spoil. Revolt getting back. Payne kept it away from him. Short arrives. He paddled it away and out of bounds. 45 around from the Richmond goal.
Really interesting period this, with Oscar McInerney off. McStay's come up to the ruck against Nankervis. How much of an advantage can Richmond get out of this period?
From the throw in, Nankervis reached over the top. Won a tap. There's some holding on. It's Starcevic who'll get it against Shea Bolton. It looks like he's been able to pull himself together after perhaps copping a whack in the face or a poke in the eye. Starcevic down the broadcast wing, sets it up to the marking contest. Hip would remove Bolter, then drop the mark. Berry coming through, got it to McCluggage. Sidestepped clear, went for Cameron, who slipped over. And the last man standing was Broad to take the mark.
And the Tigers working across defensive goal and out the other side with Short. Stretching out now, decided to kick after initially contemplating a handball. Sonsi tumbles into the next one. They've got to the wing. Rioli's given him the overlap, and Daniel forward to the centre wing. Kicks inside 50 to his cousin. And Morris Jr. takes the mark. 35 to 40 metres out. Left forward flank. Tigers looking for another goal to Rioli. Already Daniel with one. And now Morris Jr. with another.
Really interesting passage of play with Dusty being so deep. He commands so much attention. He led at the footy. Morris is able to sneak in behind for the mark going away from the kicker.
And Curvis drifting down in case it falls short. You'd think he'd make the distance. In his first final, what a season he's had already. That one does fall a bit short. Backs into the post ultimately. And it's a behind to the Tigers. So they're 1-1-7. Making most of the plays so far in this opening term. And they're experts for sure, Unify uniform experts.
The kick in was quick to Coleman, who pulls the ball to the near side. Starcevic marks and plays on. Kicks to open space up at the 50. Didn't do anyone any favours with the kick. And it trickles away end on end and goes out of play.
That's twice they've brought the ball forward, Brad, and haven't quite been able to work out where to kick the footy.
So that was a skill error. So I think Chris Fagan and the Brisbane Box will be trying to work out how they can get some control of the game through some uncontested possession.
They've moved it out quickly a couple of times, haven't they? I guess that's something.
They have, yeah.
The Lions looking for their first score. Shallow throw in. Nankervis knocked it straight to Neil. Fed it out the back to Berry. He's got the chance to land this at full forward. Sets it up. Danaher and Hipwood both there. Floston made the spoil. He hammered it away from that contest. And it runs out of play 5 around from the behind post.
Tigers getting well set in defence. They have the only scores on the board so far. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. 1-1-7. Lions with an opportunity deep here to score for the first time. McStay against Nankervis. Outsized, and this size prevails as the handballs are chained up for the Tigers. Baker, Gibcus caught, flicked the handball back to centre half back. Grabbed by Sonsi. Handball was a little extravagant. Archie overran it, so he's out there already. Pop kick from Berry is short and effective, and he finds McCluggage 30 metres out directly in front at last. A chance for the Lions to strike.
It's the nice little bit of polish, lowered the eyes, didn't blaze away, had the composure to get his eyes up, and he was able to find a mark. It's what Brisbane are going to have to do. If they bomb that ball long, the Richmond defenders are so well programmed that it'll really hurt them going back the other way.
So McInerney in a world of pain.
Yeah,
been subbed out.
Clearly out of the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had blood coming from the nose, but it must be concussion or more serious. McCluggage, 35 out. Kicks truly. Kicks well. And Lions fans in front of us get on their feet. Something to cheer about for Brisbane. Such an important conversion. 1 straight 6 and Richmond 1-1-7 through the opening 10 minutes here on the Makita clock. Rule the outdoors with Makita.
I just think for the Lions to be able to score regularly, they're going to have to change angles on these Richmond defenders. If they play straight line footy or try to go fast all of the time, it's going to play into Vlaston's hands and Nathan Broad's hands. So they're going to have to shift it offline and actually expose those defenders who want to be dominant.
What does McInerney's subbing out so early in the piece do in the centre circle for Flight Centre, your front row seat centre? They're going to scramble all night, the Lions, on that front. McStay has gone into the ruck against Nankervis. The 2.25s. Richmond by a point. 9 minutes into the opening term. Nankervis knocked it out the side. Martin was in attendance. Prestia hacked it off the turf. Took good territory. Bumped up inside the 50. Gardner was there to defuse the scenario. They gave it to Payne, who kicked it out on the full. Right in front of the Richmond stronghold on our broadcast side.
So I wonder who else is going to ruck. Whether they send Payne forward or even Danaher. I know he's got bad shoulders, but someone else is going to have to do some ruck work.
McIntosh sets it up in the Lynch direction. Payne with the spoil. Zach Bailey underneath. Kept the ball in right against the boundary. Kicks long down the line. Matheson folds back. Broad with the initial spoil. Got to be one underneath. Danaher did. Socketed off the ground. Up near the 50. Hipwood got rid of his man. Gibcus didn't take the footy. Fights the good fight. Floston repels and runs it over the boundary to be thrown in.
Chosen the game. He's upset then. Thought it should have been deliberate. It's interesting to watch he and Tarrant along it. If he can get Tarrant up the ground, he's going to leave him for dead, isn't he, you'd think?
Well, that's right. So Tarrant wants to be in the cage. He wants to grapple and wrestle. He doesn't want to be up where he can get exposed out the back.
Forward 50 fills up as Nankervis tapped it to himself and then twice follow-up was good. Down to Presti, a clearing kick. Back to the wing lines, have an extra. And heavy work by Andrews, but he toppled over. And Lynch is able to whack it forward. Great nows. Bolton takes it 60 out. He's got Dusty, he's got Morris. He goes for a bit of Morris action, who handballs to Martin. And the Tiger goal comes now.
Really interesting passage of play. So Starcevic dropped off Bolton at the stoppage, which allowed him access. Now, that created a 2v1 where the ball went, but they weren't able to win that contest. Shy Bolton ran a pattern by himself through the middle of the ground, and it results in a goal. So really, really costly decision. He didn't impact, and it allowed him to and Shy Bolton got on the end of it.
Yeah, it should never have happened, really, should it, when you had a 2-on-1 in that situation?
They need to win that contest, or Starcevic needs to stay with Shy Bolton and take out his influence.
It's not a great replay from a Lions perspective for car sales, everything you ought to know. But how about the roar of these Tiger fans? Dusty with the goal on return. 2-1-13 to 1 straight. The Tyre Power scoreboard, your trusted tyre experts. It'll be McStay in the middle against Miller. Miller tapped it down to McStay, who then coughed it up to Cochin. Trickled the kick forward, but not particularly far. Wilmot on to Boo, the give and go with Neal. Got it back, off to McStay. Forward to the play to Pryor. Run down by Morris Rioli. A family trait indeed. It's a ball up at half forward for the Lions. Without hesitation, it's sent up. Miller knocked it down near Cochin. Kick smothered by Neal. Charging through the stoppage. Gave it to Archie. Flings it at goal and missed to the left. It's a goal. A 1 straight kick the difference. 1-1 the Lions. 2-1 the Tigers. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
Footy at full back then. So Archie getting action surprisingly early as the sub. He'd only just recovered, of course, from concussion. To incident with Patrick Cripps. Flostone chooses the vulture side, straight side of the ground, kicks to the wing, up goes Revolt, patted it down a couple of times to Pickett and then to Ross, who's been good so far, back to short, up and under, to the wing, will it go any further? Rich turn around at the moment, but underneath it's all Richmond, a hand pass Sonsi, they get it forward through Cumberland off the left boot, his kick goes wider and more forceful than he would have hoped, and got away from Pickett. Slips out of bounds, about 55 around. 2-1-13 the Tigers, 1-1-7 the Lions. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Starcevic coming up with Shy Bolton now. He's going to mirror him on the other side of stoppage. This should be interesting.
Miller over the top of McStay, got the tap. Neal able to get the hands free enough to get a handball to Starcevic, but he bangs it straight out of bounds on the full. And Jack Ross getting to the right spot again is going to be the recipient and immediately bring it into Tarrant. As the forward 50 fills up with Tigers and Lions. Tarrant into the pocket he goes. Lynch is the clear target from the side, floating through. Cumberland couldn't take the mark. Hack kick out of there by McCluggage. It's going to land nicely for Danaher, who has to pause and wait for all those that were inside the D50 to get further afield and give him an option. And one of those is Pryor, who can turn onto his left foot, but where to?
He kicks a bit aimlessly forward. Floston had that covered the whole way. Hipwood was his lone hope, but he was outnumbered, and Floston is devastating in those circumstances. Not his best kick, though, into the middle, and it falls for the Nubian Wilmot, who doesn't waste it going forward. McStay marks, blazes into the pocket. Archie's his man, front on contacts. He'll get the free kick in the forward pocket.
Good stuff
from Wilmot. Well-weighted kick, yep.
Risky move there. Glasson normally hits that 9 times out of 10, but that's high risk, high reward. Able to penetrate going straight back through the corridor.
Good raps on Wilmot. He's done a couple of nice things, hasn't he?
So Callum Archie called to action in the opening minutes of this elimination final. He's had a shot that missed on the run. It's the tight angle, right forward pocket. Archie jabbed it near side. So he's missed on both sides of the goal front. The Lions are down by 5 on the Tyre Power, your trusted expert scoreboard. Middle stages of the opening term.
Footy back and full back with Flostone. Dustin Martin playing at full forward for Richmond at the moment. He and his opponent Gardner, the lone souls inside the forward 50. The footy at the other end of the ground. Tigers go relatively short on the way. Who pops it over the top, and now the kick goes long down the line. Oh, great work from Miller. Didn't take the mark though ultimately. Danaher got worked over it, and the ball is judged to be holding against Tom Lynch. An incorrect disposal. Seemed a pretty hard call. The umpire obviously deciding that he'd had his prior and had the opportunity to handball and didn't, and then he was tackled by Harris Andrews, who edges around from behind the wing, goes down the line. Can they at least make a contest in the air this time? It was 4 against 1. Hipwood got up to the front. Robinson, but only as far as Flostone. This is a super high ball now on the wing. Coming in at a hard Payne. Put a fist into it. Charging through. Payne and Gardner did well. Off the knee. You're going to have to react quickly. He did. Got away from Sonsi. This is promising, but not for long. Starcevic is hunted down by Pickett. Brilliant tackle. Great aggression from the Tigers, who lead by 5.
Pickett's up to use it quickly. He's coming for Martin in front of the Tiger faithful. Marks, wheels inboard, pokes it to the 50. Revolts. He had back position, but he had a mismatch against Pryor.
I think if it comes back to the Harris Andrews long down the line kick to a 4v1, they've got to find a way to be able to take it offline. Even if it's to possess the ball, switch it, get it to the open side. They can't kick to Richmond's advantage like that.
45-degree angle to the right. He'll be 50 metres out from goal. Jack Revolts. On approach. Starts at left. It won't work back. And carries right to the line and through for a behind. Margin is 6 in Richmond's favour on the Tyre Power scoreboard. Your match day favourites for tyre safety.
Quick kick in. It was a good one. Straight down the middle to McCluggage from Coleman, who gave it off to Mitch Robinson, who was able to work the handball, and then back again through Starcevic to Robinson again from Matheson. It became a bit of a rush. Good work from McCluggage through 2 tackles and a third, and then he's popped the kick. Not quite enough weight on Mark. Was it juggled to McCarthy? No! Play on. Gibcus fired out a handball. His arms out everywhere. Clearing kick from Rioli. Back to the wing. Revolt a late lunge. Bolton gathered it below his knees brilliantly. Hand pass to Pickett. He's confronted immediately. Poor handball. Wasn't a good decision in the first place. Now Hipwood has a look. Kicks inside 50 to a lunging Charlie Cameron. And it slipped through fingers and went out of bounds. It was touched, I think, 40 metres away from goal. We'll have a throw in. 2-2-14 plays 1-2-8.
Just how this matchup between Starcevic and Bolton is playing out is fascinating. Every time Starcevic has a decision to make, do I go on impact? He either needs to win the footy because Shai Bolton ends up on the end of it.
Danaher and Tarrant Wade in the square. About 40 metres around from the throw-in, which takes place with Brisbane in attack. Hip with the tap, and as far as Sonsi off to Ross. Brisbane have upped the pressure ante here. Great multiple tackles, and one of them is rewarded. It's Charlie Cameron, and it goes against Ross. He's got a couple of substantial targets deep. McCarthy's on the move, coming up at him. It's come off the side of the boot, though. The centering kick was poor. Fumbled by Gibcus. Robertson, a handball almost. Got to the man. Now picked up by McCarthy. His move first was great, but then it was anticipated. The Tigers get a winning tackle. Free kick to Sonsi. He's rushed the advantage and wasted it, in fact.
He's just left it there for Wilmot, who had a nervous moment. He had to follow up after having his initial kick smothered, and his kick inside 50 turns over in a rush. As a result, Miller riskily across the face of goal for Pickett, who runs the gauntlet right through the middle. He had targets to work with. Revolt couldn't mark. Payne the spoil and the tackle to keep it in dispute. Starcevic received the hand pass from Matheson, and off to Zorko. He's seen Archie, who has a knack of finding space inside that 50.
They'll be talking about turnovers up in the Richmond coaches box. The times Brisbane have looked most dangerous are coming off those errant kicks, being able to punish. This Archie's proving to be quite the matchup forward. He's taken 2 marks. Yeah. He's looked really dangerous.
Coaches can't really claim credit for that, can they?
It's time to hit the scoreboard for Callum Archie. Third time lucky. The sub is by far and away the Lions' best option up front right now. And it is all squared up. 2-2-14 apiece with 7 minutes to go in the opening term on the Makita clock. Rule the outdoors with Makita. I guess in all the planning that gets done, Brad, nobody anticipates on either side of the coin that the sub will be in 5 minutes into the game. And he's proving elusive.
Well, it changes the whole look of a Brisbane forward line, doesn't it? I mean, instead of having the three talls, suddenly it's a much more nimble forward line.
Well, that's right. Now you're looking at Joe's taking centre bounces, which they wouldn't have gone in planning to do, obviously. So it just throws them out of whack for 5 minutes. And who knows, it may actually work to their favour.
Yeah, McStay's gone forward. He's by far the tallest forward. He's the lone significant target. Danaher rucking for the first time since his shoulder injury. Up goes Nankervis. Joe did well. He grabbed it out of the ruck as Nankervis overcommitted. High ball to centre half forward. Ochee that time defended well by Gibcus. Loose ball volleys around. The soccer from Bailey to his own control. Tackled by Flostone immediately. And it results in a ball up, but they've got it locked away in the forward 50 at least.
Yeah, that's right. The pressure's increased. Richmond started really well making tackles, but Brisbane's pressure has really gone through the roof in the last 5 minutes.
Danaher again grabbed it, handballed it straight up in the air. McCarthy fisted it, grabbed by Short, immediate pressure, juggling mark, not paid to Richard, hadn't gone far enough. Off to Zorko though, they keep their head this time. Chip it wide to Payne, who can launch 55 metres plus. As it turned out, it was just away to the right. It gives them the lead. And Brisbane 2-3-15. Richmond 2-2-14. Tyre Power, your match day favourites for tyre safety.
Tigers in quickly. Pickett on to Cumberland. Kicks out of half-back. Miller's his target and he presents manfully on the wing.
It's been good so far, Miller.
He's going to slip the hand pass to Short. Racing by, up to Prestia, slid in, dropped the mark, left it there for Coleman, who danced the boundary and opened the possibilities. Up to Bailey. Gibcus made the spoil though, and the Tigers retrieve. Short hugs the boundary with his kick, and it's a good one. Mark taken by Sonsi at half forward. Ducks in, kicks for Martin, 1-on-1. Gardner went to ground. Martin's got it against the boundary. Just a little bit of rust. When he's in flow, he kicks that on the bender, but he's missed near side by a margin. Scores level on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
There wouldn't be more of a nervous time in football than having Dustin Martin one out with the goals behind you, knowing you could get turned inside out, I tell you.
Rich chooses the outer side, and the most conservative of short kicks back into play to Andrews. Not a great kick. It was grabbed on the half volley by Wilmot, and now Andrews just has to absorb the tackles which come on every angle. And the umpire saw it his way and goes for a ball up rather than anything more menacing. Not sure he really tried to get rid of it.
What he didn't do was try to evade.
Yeah.
It was actually quite clever.
Yeah, which is where
ridiculous.
The rule is ridiculous. But Pryor sharks this one, sends it back to the wing. Good contest from McStay, but he was heavily outnumbered. It's Bolter that thumps at every bit of 70 metres. And it's well marked by Harris Andrews that time. That's stretching back. That's a terrific catch on the last line. Scores a level.
Makita Clock rule the outdoors with Makita. 23 minutes into the opening term. Andrews sat it out long on the way out. It was pinched off the fingertips by Noah Bolter over the top of McStay. And while the Lions were arguing with the ump, they opened a passage inboard for Cochin. So directly in front, Cochin uses the stand rule, wheels out, lashed it at goal. Oh, that's a kick. The former skipper unloads from range. And Richmond lead by the Cochin goal. 3-3-21 to the Lions, 2-3-15. Brad Miller for Shaw Unify, uniform experts.
Well, that's not normally in Koch's wheelbag. It's just, he's flushed it straight down the middle. Goal kicking hasn't been his forte. He's a contested ball winner, but, he hit that one well. Harris Andrews is right on top of Tom Lynch, so that matchup's really working for the Lions at the moment. He's playing him really tight from the back shoulder, and it's allowing him to mark the footy or at least halve the contest. So Lynch isn't a factor at the moment, which has got to please the Lions coach's box.
I've just had some Tiger correspondence, very unofficial. Have Brisbane have they shrunk the ground to suit their styles? Someone claiming they've got the line in 2 metres further than normal. Don't think so, but I like the theory. Ball up in the middle. Up goes Nankervis. Knocks it straight down to Presta, who was clobbered, and he's going to earn himself a free. No advantage there, distinguishable. So it comes back to Dion Prestia, who has Rioli running from behind. He ignored him, but he did link up with Broad, who ran the other way and then just wobbled one forward, which fooled everyone pretty much. Double fist from Wilmot was good. Picked up by Pickett. He was spinning already. Bypassed a couple of lines. One's gone down in a heap. Long kick to full forward. Lynch was impeded legally by Andrews. And it was Lockie Neal, of all people, who came up worse for wear, but he seems to be okay. He's recovered. And the ball went over the line and out of bounds. Richmond lead by that sole goal. Inside the last 4 minutes of the opening term. From the throw-in, Nankervis couldn't quite get it. Accurate tap down. The Lions work it out of bounds. Was it intentional? Yes, it was. And I think it was Pryor, was it? No, it was Starcevic that forced the handball. He was claiming he was handballing it to a teammate. The umpire having none of it. And it's going to be Shea Bolton to work the L shape, a snap at goal. And work it beautifully. The Tigers reassert their authority at the Gabba. And their authority over the Lions in general in recent years. It's 4-3-27 to 2-3-15 with under 4 minutes remaining on the Makita clock. Makita Ruley outdoors.
He kicks those in his sleep, Shea Bolton. Being able to start in a centre bounce and then flip over with Dustin, I know we spoke about it earlier, but it makes it really difficult for his matchup. Now, I know it's Starcevic at times has been on Bolton, but he's had to take whoever comes forward, whether it's a Cochin or it might be a Martin at times. It just makes it really hard for that player to get some consistency, and Shea Bolton's obviously having an influence.
So a few headaches down on the boundary for Chris Fagan. Spitwater tough and ready. Lockie Neal has dusted himself off. He's back in at the centre bounce and he'll be shoulder to shoulder with Shea Bolton. McStay against Nankervis in the ruck. High bounce. Nankervis wins the tap. Prestia worked over. Robinson came through, but it's a loose hand pass. Cochin missed his boot, so it's back into dispute. Gardner settles it. He jabs the kick up near half forward. A clever reach by Baker to trap the ball, but he gave away the free kick to McCluggage in the initial contest. Lions have it at half forward. McCluggage steers the pass in the Hipwood direction. Floston was right with him, and he gave away the free kick. I imagine the penalty is the chop of the arms.
Really good movement from Hipwood then. He doubled back to the goal and then led at the kicker, which just made Vlaston just overreach, give away the free kick. But that's the sort of movement that Eric Hipwood's known for when he's up and about. He's really agile, can get your defender going backwards and then come at the kicker.
He definitely dragged at the right elbow to pull the second hand off the footy. The free kick was there. On the replay for car sales, everything you ought to know. The footy is with Eric Hipwood at the juncture of 50 and the boundary. The toughest shot on the field. A couple of steps inside the arc. Let's fly brilliantly. It's just what the Lions needed. Eric Hipwood with a cool head for it. And he pegs it back to a 1-goal deficit. The Tyre Power scoreboard, your trusted tyre experts. Brisbane 3-3-21. Richmond 4-3-27 with a couple of minutes to play in the first term.
What a terrific finish. You've noticed a couple of times the Lions forwards have had to lead wide. It's just because of the positioning of the Richmond defenders. They force that kick, and so if you're having a shot, you're having it from out there, and it actually requires you to do something special to hit the scoreboard. Now, that's for a left footer. Eric Hipwood can hit it from out there, but that's a tough pocket to kick a goal from at the Gabba. So, outstanding finish.
And as you said, it was something that was just critical for Brisbane after Richmond had kicked a couple in a row and looked to be getting the upper hand. Back in the middle where Nankervis has different opposition than he would have anticipated. It's McStay who got high early. Nankervis barely leapt, got the tap. Neal came rushing through, met full on by Pickett. Little handball. Cochin was clever. Now Nankervis rushes one to Miller, but courage shown by Coleman. Didn't take the footy cleanly. Good back up. Starcevic spinning, scraped out a handball to Andrews. He just slapped it on the boot. He's fortunate. It landed on the chest of Bailey. Quickly links up a handball to Neal, who spurts away. Straight down the middle to centre half forward. Cameron in front had it fisted away by Flostone, and Broad, loose ball. Gathering it quickly. Baker. And was able to identify McIntosh, the wingman pushing back, takes the mark across half back. Little pop kick is wide to now Rioli. So Daniel Rioli has it at left half back. Margin is 6. 2 minutes remaining in the opening term on the Makita clock. Kicks to Lynch, long down the line, who hangs on. Under pressure from Andrews, but that's a good sign for the Richmond spearhead. Too far out to score. Launches it, sets it up, hoping for Revolt or Bolton or Cumberland or Miller, who was also in the milling pack. Grabbed by Bolton, got through 2 tackles, couldn't get boot to ball, mowed down, and the advantage paid, but not leveraged well. Grabbed by McIntosh in the pocket. A handball, short, a wild old go at it, and it's going to be thrown in. Or is that on the full? It's come off it came off Berry's boot involuntarily. So unlucky. So it's McIntosh to take the set shot. A little further out than where we saw Bolton kick one just before. And he doesn't quite have the skills of Shea Bolton, but he has plenty going for him. What a warrior he's been. He gets right back against the fence. Lines it up. It does seem like that pocket is a little shallower than normal. Might be imagining things now that I've had it put in my head. Comes in, kick goes right across the face of goal. Knocked back to the dangerous spot. Oh, for a moment, Bolton had a glimpse. Now he picks it up, and his kick was smothered. Beautifully done by Starcevic. Got the applause. Robertson slaps it away, but it's still inside the forward 50 for the Tigers. Little kick from Baker. He is chopped off, and it's a Brisbane mark. And it's Starcevic again, who is overworked at the moment.
Well, they needed that steadying mark. It's the rush of blood on the holding the ball off the last line and then a punch back into play rather than conceding the behinds. It was all fraught for the Lions in defence. Starcevic kicks long down the line. Nankervis into the pack to make the spoil. Neal onto the spilt ball. Got it away to Coleman, then to Bailey, mown down, but he slipped the tackle of Rioli to McStay. They're running the gauntlet through the middle. Bailey keeps going, sucking it off the ground. It took a Richmond turn, though. Straight into Daniel Rioli. Now Ross gets it to Morris. He gives some ground to Pickett, who can make sense of it out on the broadcast wing. Morris Rioli is crumpled on the turf behind the play. Pickett gives it to Daniel Rioli. Caressed the kick perfectly for the leading Cumberland, who spilt the milk.
The kids have just had a couple of moments for Richmond, haven't they? I mean, for both sides there's been errors, but that's a couple now. Rioli, he got by Coleman. Well and good. He's getting to his feet now. I think he's okay.
So Cumberland had that spent. In his mind, he was going back to take the set shot at goal, and the footy escaped his grasp. 55 from the Richmond goal. Nankervis knocked it goal side. Robinson was camped there for it. Adventurous ball into centre field. It hung for a long time. Floston drove the fist through it. Pickett ran into Danaher. Taken to ground. Ball it up.
I'm fascinated with the way the Lions move the ball. Like the risks they take when they don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, particularly the handball chain through the middle isn't working for them because Richmond's pressure's too good. So they have to find a way to control the game by foot.
Neil under the feet of the ruckman had first play on it and the second, got it off to Rich. He hacks it forward. They're outnumbered, but Hipwood should be able to at least make a contest. He clipped. No, he's held, wasn't he? He was held without the footy according to the umpire. It seemed most unlikely as he was outnumbered and he's ordered by his teammates to at least consider having a long shot for goal. Yes, that's why the siren was about to sound. And the footy is travelling distances, mainly to the other end we've seen so far. But Eric Hipwood is a beautiful long kick. And, well, this would tie things up at quarter time, I think, which would be an excellent result if you're a Lions fan. He's almost starting on the wing. Your medium pacer would be getting ready to come in and bowl from the Vulture Street end come cricket season. Hipwood, there's no restriction in terms of time. That 30 seconds doesn't apply after the siren. Seems to be one of the few players that knows the rules because he's using his allotted time and more. He's on his way in now. He has to kick it every bit of 51 metres, Eric Hipwood. It's online. And it carries the journey required. And look how animated Eric Hipwood is. We don't normally quite see him like that. He turns to the Lions faithful, punches the air with vigour. And the Lions have drawn level after the siren at quarter time. What a finish to the opening term, 4-3-27 apiece.
If ever you've seen a goal that was worth more than 6 points, that was it. Hipwood's kick 2, Archie and McCluggage 1 each. Singles for the Tigers to Dusty, Cochin, Daniel Rioli and Shea Bolton. Scores level at quarter time.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power, your matchday favourites for tyre safety.
Imagine driving tomorrow's car today. Imagine the quality and innovation of a Hyundai Tucson SUV. Striking design inside and out. Powerful performance, advanced safety and technology. A selected range of Tucsons, including the powerful fuel-efficient diesel all-wheel drive models, are in stock now, ready to drive away. Tech drive a Tucson to see why tomorrow wants its car back. Visit Hyundai.com.au for details. Imagine that. Hyundai.
It's been a while, and we've all missed that feeling of freedom when you tell your mates, see you at the pub.
With restrictions behind us, Victoria's pubs and hotels are back and open for business again.
Remember the impromptu girls' night out? Or catching up with mates for the footy on the big screen? And the thrill of live music?
Or just getting together with family and friends and reclaiming the night over a classic pub meal.
Come on, Victoria. See you at the pub.
From first-time browsing to big-time arousing, Sexyland is all about fun. We have Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, couples' toys, fun gifts and games for adults. And our team of fun specialists are always here to help in-store and online. Sexyland 11 stores open 7 days until midnight in Melbourne and Geelong, or shop online and get 2-hour delivery.
Take me now, I'm coming. Take me now, Sexyland.
Booked a holiday? Visiting friends interstate? Melbourne Airport is happy to be welcoming travellers back. Nothing beats the convenience, flexibility and great value when you park at Melbourne Airport. From just $12 a day, the Value Car Park offers exceptional value. And only a few minutes walk to check-in, Melbourne Airport's Terminal Car Park offers absolute convenience. Park with ease and peace of mind with Melbourne Airport. Book online today and save at melbourneairport.com.au.
The Monopoly game at Macca's is back with $578 million in prizes to be won. Prizes like free fuel for a year with Ampol, a $10,000 Webjet gift card and more. Download the My Macca's app and play today. Ends 18th of October. For full terms, visit mcdonalds.com.au.
Designer Appliances are your premium laundry appliance specialists. With all the best brands, we can help create functional spaces, converting your laundry into a practical paradise. Visit us at Camberwell, Heidelberg, Rosebud and Wantirna South, or browse online at designerappliances.com.au.
On the field or organising behind the scenes, you can rely on Victor Sports Club Supplies. Victor are proud partners of Australia's most well-known teams, including the Melbourne Storm, Melbourne United, the Premiership-winning Demons, Wallabies and Opals. With everything from sports rubs and sprays through to first aid and trainers gear, Victor help keep your team performing where it matters most. Sign up your club today to access fantastic benefits. Check victorsports.com.au.
Hi, it's Rob Sanusa from State Transport and Warehousing. Do you have a commercial vehicle and looking for a better standard of work? Then call State Transport today. We have work for 1 and 2 tonne trays and vans, 12 and 14 tonne taut liners, right through to semi-trailers. So, make the move to a better way of transport. Call our team today, 9587 4433. At State Transport, our people are your solution.
Looking for a better value 5G mobile plan? Mate! Get the Soulmates 5G plan with 60 gig of data, 500 gigabyte data bank, and a Tidal Hi-Fi music subscription of just $40 per month. That's right, 5G mobile for just $40 per month. Mate! Why wait? Make the switch to Mate. Visit letsbemates.com.au or search Mate online.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
Macca's I'm Loving It moments. Catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today.
He's got Dusty, he's got Morris. He goes for a bit of Morris action, who handballs to Martin, and the Tiger goal comes now.
So directly in front, Cochin uses the stand rule, wheels out, lashed at a goal. Oh, that's a kick. The footy is with Eric Hipwood. A couple of steps inside the arc. Let's fly brilliantly. It's just what the Lions needed.
He has to kick it every bit of 51 metres, Eric Hipwood. It's online. And it carries the journey required. And look how animated Eric Hipwood is. And the Lions have drawn level after the siren at quarter time.
I'm loving it. Moments for Macca's. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Brad Miller, it's a slight surprise that the scores are level.
It is. There was a momentum shift about halfway through. I think the Lions' pressure increased and they got it back on their terms.
So what's the next flurry in the match? Those 2 long goals from Eric Hipwood to tie things up. The opening bounce in the second term for Tyre Power. Best on ground for family safety. The Lions to the right as we look at it from the broadcast position. Oscar McInerney watches on from the bench, having been knocked rotten in the first 5 minutes. Sampai goes over as Prestia was steaming through to gather. It disrupted the play. Robertson got hold of it, gave it to McStay, off to Neal, back to Robertson, run down by Morris Rioli, who ties him up in the centre circle. That's where it'll be balled up for Flight Centre, your front row seat centre. Tossed up. McStay got one. Down to Neal. Threw it onto the boot. High ball to half forward. Awkward to deal with. It bounced away from the first set. Baker got tackled by McCarthy and dispossessed. Floston to Daniel Rioli. Searching hand pass. Nankervis comes up to gather. He didn't. Matheson did. Off to McStay and now to Bailey. Bailey's at centre half forward. He's gone for the lead of Cameron and it landed on his chest. Ideally weighted to clear the lunging defence.
That's the type of play that Damien Hardwick sitting up in the coach's box fearing. They're able to lower the eyes, take a mark 50 to 70, but then change angles. It allows those forwards to go to work. And Charlie Cameron in space being able to go one way, duck out the other, it's a nightmare for those Richmond defenders.
Charlie's first real look up front. He's 30 out. He steers it right. Didn't give it the full-blooded kick. And the Lions, they've led by a point now twice in this game. The scoreboard for McDonald's, the Monopoly game at Macca's is back.
Yeah, both sides have missed some opportunities. Cameron a bit deflated by that, no doubt. Broad, conservative line and length on the kick. Into the back pocket. Marked by Baker. Kicks Richmond up to the wing. McStay from behind. He couldn't spoil. Nankervis in front onto the left. Quick smart. High ball down the line. Dustin Martin in front. Gardner wore him pretty well. Martin still emerged with the footy. But his handball in a rush wasn't able to reach Morris Rioli. Instead it squirts over the line and out of bounds. 4-4-28 Brisbane playing 4-3-27 Richmond. AFL Nation. Second quarter for McDonald's. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Throw in half forward. Nankervis got the tap and the follow-up. He's done that a few times. Put the handball out in front of Bolton, who overdid it, overran it. Picked up by McCluggage. Sends it back to the wing. Good contest in the air. Fisted away Flostone. Prestia had it stripped from him immediately. Hand pass came away at Berry. Worked in tight spaces with Robertson, who has the cuffs put on, and this time the umpire has no sympathy. It's holding the ball. It's great tackling from the Tigers. And it's going to Tyler Sonsi. And McCarthy ran over the mark, but he's doing so following his direct opponent. So no further penalty. Sonsi goes into the pocket, targeted Campbell, who wasn't far off. Oh, look at Bolton in a flash into the square. Was he tackled high? It won't matter. He's kicked the left foot goal anyway. What a player he is, Shea Bolton. When he gets the footy, he's unstoppable, and he has two.
I'm going to talk about this matchup all night, but when Starcevic and Shai Bolton, they're both having such good games. Starcevic is actually influencing the game. He's had 8 possessions. He's intercepted the ball. But this guy needs half a metre and you will pay for it. He's such a damaging player in front of the goal and he creates half chances out of nothing. And that came from absolutely nowhere. Yeah. He was trapped on the boundary and was able to step inside 2 blokes and kick a goal on his left. He only needs 5-6 touches to really hurt you.
It's an electrifying turn of speed. All the stats for safety, Steele sheds. Brad Miller watches on from our broadcast box. The Tigers lead by 5.
The height on his kick, he had a man right in his face to avoid pain. It was a great kick as well.
Nankervis took it out of the ruck. It didn't quite work. His hand pass went straight to McCluggage, to Neal, to Rich, the designated kicker. He flops it end over end inside the 50. McCarthy tapped it out in front of himself but couldn't gather. Daniel Rioli against the flow. Threw it up in centre field. Starcevic flew, but he dropped the mark and there's work to be done. McStay with a hand pass. It worked. Wilmot unloads to full forward. Hipwood tries, couldn't quite get the hands to it, and it slipped away out of bounds. McCarthy's just left limping as he rises. Left the right leg, I reckon, took a knock in of that. Brisbane have it in the forward pocket at the throw in. And Hurrick's Nankervis. Nankervis knocks it down, gathers himself. Tries some sort of kick out toward the boundary. McIntosh, but Harlem Globetrotters over his head, knocked it down for Sonsi, who clears the defensive area. Lynch in front, made a good contest, and Reebok charging through, got mowed down by Wilmot. The turnover came, although Payne's turned it right back to Sonsi. Shared it with Cumberland. Sonsi again, bumps the ball up near Prestia, knocked it on, needs Revolt. Payne against the flow. Hand pass to Robertson. The Lions have it at half-back. Maurice Rioli threatens. The kick in a hurry down the wing as a result. McStay couldn't mark. McIntosh did just enough. Matheson hand passes it close to the boundary. And Daniel Rioli makes sure it goes the rest of the way as he puts the tackle on Hipwood. There's a bit of afters in the aftermath of that. Pulling at jumpers. They're all thrown around. The umpires are just happy to let the boys sort it out.
You wonder how much influence Nankervis is going to have on this game as it continues. McInerney subbed out early. It's a mismatch against McStay. Got his way to the front, and McStay did well. Just stayed on his feet long enough to squirt out a handball to Berry, who streaks away, pumps it. Cameron, no! Desperate lunge broad. Cameron stays on his feet and shows shape on what he can do. One end good, other end, I won't say better, but it was just about as good. And that is exciting for everybody, perhaps except the Tiger fans. Brisbane back in front. Charlie Cameron hits the scoreboard. And it's 5-4, 34 to 5-3, 33. We've got a bit of country road.
We've been talking about the ability for the Tigers defenders to set up really strong control of the ground. But the Lions play 6 ahead at stoppage, and that ball started at a stoppage, which means they're all in one-on-one contests. So that's how Charlie Cameron's able to get out the back. Vlaston's not able to position himself up in a really strong spot, sweating on those forwards that have got too high up the ground. They're actually genuinely one-on-one and very nervous for Charlie Cameron with the goals behind him.
Our play of the day for visitmildura.com.au. 5 goals apiece. The Lions lead it by a point. McDonald's scoreboard. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Nankervis used the body well, but McStay ended up with a footy. Hand pass to Zorko. Blind kick going forward straight to Flostone. Chalk him up for another intercept mark. Spins it out to McIntosh. Robinson slipped over and opened the path out of halfback. Then to Daniel Rioli. Kick up to the 50. Cumberland flew in front, didn't mark. Lynch off the turf. It rolls up in the Rich direction. Was he taken high by Lynch? That's how it looked to the crowd, and that's how it was adjudicated by the umpire. Daniel Rich with it. He's going to switch across the face of goal to this near side of the ground. Payne has it in a lot of space. He's rifled the kick up for Wilmot. Maurice Rioli got a hand in. Jarred it clear, slipped the tackle, got away, delivers up near Lynch, bouncing ball, took it cleanly. Hand pass to Revolt, had to dive at it. Maurice Rioli's there again. Feeds it out the back to Short. Tries to get onto the left boot. Screws it around the corner. Prestia against 2, made the contest. They fight on underneath. Matheson lost the footy. Robertson with a hand pass out to Gardner, confronted. Had Payne out the side. Clearing kick is okay. McCarthy's there for it. There's a bit of relief in that cheer from the Lions crowd.
Still takes an attacking line through centre half back. Accesses Matheson. And then Kitty Coleman over the top to Zorko. Kept on coming to Rich. A roadblock, but a handball. Danaher faces the same plight. Great tackle from Tarrant. Zorko made good, but the soccer goes straight to the sweepers. McIntosh a handball back to Baker, and they start to work the ball forward and orchestrate another move into the attacking area. Pickett to the wing. Grabbed there by Short. He's had a bounce already. He's got Cotchet on the inside. He takes the mark. Turns. 65 from goal. Here comes the Lynch lead. Right on the chest. 40 metres out. Just slightly to the left to put Richmond back in front. Tom Lynch.
This thing's something that Fags needs to address with the guys. They keep trying to force that handball through the corridor, which is just bring them unstuck. I think Harris has done such a great job. He's been physical on Tom Lynch. He's really got under his skin. He's not letting him get out the back, but there's only so many times he can absorb that inside 50 pressure. And if they keep turning it over through over handballing, it's going to bring them unstuck.
Lynch is set, moves in, 40 out, looks good off the boot. Looks even better in flight. Richmond back in front at the gather. Tom Lynch collects the high fives. as he kicks his first goal of the night. And it's now Richmond 6-3-39, Brisbane 5-4-34. Back to a 5-point Richmond lead.
That's 6 lead changes already. It is an open game for a final. This is, Brad, what you'd spoken about. A bit of what we saw at the MCG is I think there's going to be some real hand-to-hand combat played across the weekend, but not tonight.
No, it's an outstanding game. Both sides are punishing off turnover really well. They're really efficient going inside 50, which we know. But yeah, they're throwing a couple of punches each.
Wilmot in the goal square in defence on debut against Cumberland at the start with a 6-6-6.
Expert commentary for Shawl Unify Uniform Experts. Richmond by 5. Not yet the halfway mark of the second term. Miller wins the tap, but it's rounded up by Lockie Neal. Bounces it up to half forward. Good use of the body from Noah Bolter. He repels for the Tigers, kicks it in short to Ross, who made an impressive start. The same can be said for Bolton. Working forward to the middle. He's desperate to give it back to Ross, who he outsmarted himself. The Shaster has that in his game. He ran straight into Bailey, lost it holding the ball. Zach Bailey kicks in the Archie direction. He had 2 against him and the numbers went out. Gibcus the spoil, Bolter the footy, not the greatest of kicks. Floston tidies it up and runs away from Danaher. Kicks out the far side of the centre square and short marks and plays on without hesitation. Has a bounce, guides it inside 50 and finds Cumberland on the leads.
Even the advantage was taken there without him knowing whether there was an advantage, Brad.
I just think Chris Fagan will be so frustrated by the speed at which they're playing. They're trying to go quick at all costs. I think they just have to be able to absorb a little bit of pressure, control the game with a few uncontested marks, and not be trying to go at breakneck speed all the time.
Noah Cumberland, 18 goals in his 8 games in the back half of this season, has been a revelation. 45-degree angle to the right. And most of 50 metres out from goal, but he has got a leg on him. Cumberland roosts it at goal. Across the face and punched through by Andrews on the behind line. Tigers by 6 on the McDonald's scoreboard. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back.
For all of that, they're in the game, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're right in the game.
Chooses the left wing, which he gets with that left leg. Danaher tried to force his way to the front, was impeded against Tarrant. Free kick to Joe. So Brisbane, ironically, had a sub as the ruckman when they played Richmond last time, and he ended up on the ground and they were too tall this time, going in with just the one ruckman. He's subbed out very early, McInerney. There's a great take at half forward by Eric Hipwood. 2 goals in the first quarter. Took the mark from the Danaher kick. They start to drift closer to goal. That's a low kick into the pocket, not a particularly high percentage one. Archie couldn't hang on that time. Skirting the pack was Cameron, got clear, and then he tried to do too much with a dainty little short pass. Good tackling though by Zorko and McCluggage. Were able to lift the pressure and stop the Tigers making their custom escape out of defence. A Miller fumble aided their cause. So it's a throw up as a result of all of that. 35 out from goal, Miller tap. Anticipated by Neal. Can't get completely clear. And the Tiger defence do their job and force it over and out. This time it's outside the defensive 50. And it's a 6-point ball game. Replays for car sales, everything you auto know.
McStay and Miller get to work on the boundary, throw in. McStay front position. McCluggage had a fly at the pack and left it behind, and Sonsi was able to clear to Short, who took the territory out to Martin. Dusty takes the mark in front of Rich. Has it right on centre wing. Dainty kick forward of the play to Ross. It just holds up, corrects the angle, poor kick. Matheson got there, swatted it away, all the way to the interchange gates. And over the line for a throw in. There's a Matheson free kick in all of that.
High contact.
Yeah, as he got in to punch, he got taken high accidentally by McIntosh.
So halved the contest and then won the contest. Matheson's ball plays on from the wing. Blasts it up to half forward. Hipwood hands out in front, knocked away. Ross underneath, rode the tackle and slipped away from Zorko. Hand pass to Prestia, right against the boundary. Took the territory. Revolt had the flyover Payne, who stood his ground well. Dusty Martin, though, is the crummer. Guides inside 50. Lynch slid in, dropped the mark. Morris Rioli, one-hand pick-up. Fend off. Hand pass to Dusty. Outside of the boot to full forward, Lockie Neal. was in the drop zone and diffuses the grenade.
And now gets 50. Tom Lynch, the culprit, one suspects, overstepping the mark. And so Lockie Neal, instead of just clearing the deepest, darkest defensive area, can try and size up what's ahead. Danaher makes a lead one way. He heads completely the other. And getting himself out wide is McStay, who made a bit of a klutz of himself there as he almost dropped the mark, but he was able to hang on. And he's almost within range, you know. He doesn't take the shot. Instead, it was a good, decisive lead. Lateral one from Hipwood, which is duly honoured. And Hipwood is kicking well and looking dangerous. They are moving quite well, the big guys for Brisbane.
And what Eric's been able to do is when he hasn't marked this ball, even if he's been outnumbered, he's been able to get it to ground, which is his job. And I think it'd please Chris the way that he's playing, because if he is dangerous when he moves like this and can generate shots, but it's what he creates too when he halves those contests and doesn't allow Vlaston to mark it. Makes him really valuable.
When he gets his tail up too, it usually transfers to his kicking. He's kicked 2 in the first quarter. This to level the scores up once again. He did it after the siren at quarter time. He can't do it here. Missed by a fair margin. It barely scrapes in for a minor. And Brisbane go to 5-5-35. Richmond 6-4-40. 16 gone, still 9 to go in this second term on the Makita clock. Makita rule the outdoors.
Floston leaves the defensive goal square. And let's fly out to half-back. It's not much of a kick, though. Berry in from the side to win it right back for the Lions. And without hesitation, he places it in the Hipwood direction. Plenty of defenders up against. Gibcus across the front made the spoil. Throw it in. Hipwood's a little the worse for wear now.
Wasn't a great kick coming into 50. They chose where all the Richmond defenders were.
Yeah, playing a solid game, the Richmond defence. They always make you think. They force you wide. They force you wide so often.
40 out from the Tigers, from the Lions goal. Taken by Nankervis out of the ruck. Dumped the kick down the line. It was something to deal with against the boundary. Baker opened up some space where there was none.
I think a free was paid, and then Andy paid advantage, and now it's holding the ball against Baker.
That is a confusing moment. And 50. Because Baker's confusion led him to hold the ball for longer than would be permissible.
Oh, Damien Harvey's gone off in the box. There'll be another 50 if the umpire could hear him.
And Darcy Wilmot is going to line up for goal in the AFL for the first time. So that was craziness. Baker just seemed to lose all of his bearings in the thread of what the umpire was instructing him to do. First to go holding the ball and then to give up the 50. How costly might it prove? Darcy Wilmot, what a stage to make your debut on. A full house at the Gabba. A chance to put his Lions in front. What adulation for the young man. And every one of his teammates in to share the moment with him. He is delighted. 7th lead change in the first half of this elimination final. 6-5-41 Brisbane, 6-4-40 Richmond. McDonald's scoreboard, the Monopoly game at Macca's is back. He's just headed to the boundary to rev up the crowd a little bit more. That's a lad who knows an occasion.
Yes. What a moment for the young man. He actually hasn't looked out of place. From the moment we've started, he's got speed, he's got composure. Geez, that's a big kick for a young man on debut.
Yeah, you get a 50. But you weren't expecting it when you got the free, were you? And then all of a sudden you got a 50 and oh, great. And Damien Harvey's just throwing the arms and the hands up. You can all go and get, you know what. That's great stuff. And he knew straight away, didn't he? Debut in a final. The first one, of course, no one will ever get past Marlon Pickett. Grand final debut in goal he kicked in 2019. Centre bounce has to be recalled. Brisbane with their nose in front again by just that solitary point. Danaher up, got the tap. Now the hustle and bustle underneath. It flicks out wide. Preston didn't try and take possession, and Zorko was able to sneak in underneath. Kick it deep. Hipwood almost at the back. Bailey will gather and goal. And now the Brisbane crowd are starting to believe. Out of the middle, straight to goal. It's the quickest and the best way home. And Brisbane by 7 points and by by injury and by accident, they look at the different construct of this Brisbane team is much harder. You've got unpredictability with Danaher in the ruck. I don't think he knows quite what he's doing, but neither do Richmond.
And that's, again, Eric halving that context, gets the ball to ground, which allows Zach Bailey to get out the back. Now, he didn't have to do much. All he had to do was compete. He got one hand on it and made sure it come to grass. And these small Brisbane forwards, they'll lap it up.
This suddenly is a big 5 minutes because the Lions can be such a centre bounce team on this ground. So it's Richmond who have to put the shoulder to the wheel and just halt momentum. Brisbane by 7. McDonald's, the Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Bounce in the middle. Nankervis knocked it down. Prestia out of mid-air. Up to the 50. Lucks a fortune as it lands on the chest of Revolts. And Jack can go back and take the shots.
Might be just out of his range here, Jack, I think. Going to take a pretty special kick. He'll have to roll around, try to get the extra distance.
Footy fell out of his hands as he started to go through his routine.
Brisbane crowd said play on.
Yes, well inside the centre square, Jack Revolt. But the mark is set at 48. Stays on a direct line to goal, Revolt. Veers out at the last. Banged it hard and long and straight. The power's still in the legs for Jack. Most timely indeed. 1 point margin again in the Lions' favour. 7 minutes to play in the half. On the Makita clock, rule the outdoors with Makita. It's 7-5, plays 7-4, Brad Miller.
What a kick. He made me look like a goose. He couldn't have flushed that any better. See, the little arc that he had in the last sort of 3 or 4 metres just gave him that extra journey, but he middled that.
Yeah, the stand rule is on to the old guys, isn't it? Just helps them get that little bit of extra.
It doesn't have to be pretty out of the middle, does it? That's a Nankervis tap, a mid-air hack from Prestia, and it lands on the chest of Revolt, and there's the goal against the flow.
I think I can remember my under-12s coach saying, forwards play in front. That's why.
I was told that in under 8. Centre bounce, Nankervis tapped it to Robertson. Stripped of it immediately, no whistle. Koch and a handball forward, a speculative one. Starcevic playing in front of Bolton. Then a fumble from Pryor out on the wing. The backup from Coleman was good. He lunged forward, diving, and he drew a free kick, much to the ire of the Richmond fans behind there, up in arms. Hardly done by, they think. A little self-induced it may have been from Coleman. Not necessarily looking for the free kick, but just diving head first. Goes short and wide and effective to Zorko. He gets booed by the Richmond fans, as Dusty has on occasions by the Brisbane. The kick goes to the wing, unexpectedly dropped by Pryor. Loose ball, pouncing on a Bolton. Gave it to Prestia. Suddenly Richmond looked menacing deep to Lynch. Displaced well by Andrews, and the backup arrived. Gardner's kick, snatched. Cumberland should goal. Did all the hard work, runs it in off the left. A great steal, and the Tigers are back in front. What a lively final.
What a game. What a game. Smallest little mistakes are being punished. Drop mark on the wing. All of a sudden, Richmond just light up and they look like they're going to score. Every time you make a mistake, they just look electric. Brisbane are doing the same thing going the other way, so it's just going both ways. It's such a great game of footy.
8 lead changes. And it is the 24th minute of the second term. McDonald's scoreboard, download the MyMaccas app and get in the game today. 52 plays 47 in the Tigers' favour. The game is running hot for Ream, more than 80 years manufacturing in Australia. It is what was forecast. Shootout footy in September. Slapped into the turf. High bounce to work with. Nankervis the second attempt. Berry, though, off the wing, won the footy. To McStay. McCluggage being driven backwards. Starcevic overwhelmed by the pressure. Sonsi spins out with a footy. Gave it to Prestia. Tigers coming forward. Hand pass too fierce for Bolton. He retreats and gathers, and neat with a kick inboard. Just a bit too much for Cumberland, who ran into 1, 2, 3 tackles. Umpire took mercy and balls it up. 35 out from the Richmond goal. Nankervis and McStay shared it. Ball bobbles around. Nankervis smacked it to open space. Pryor filled it. cleared the area initially for the Lions, but Bolter, terrific mark across the front, shot the hand pass over his head to Daniel Rioli, who didn't waste it, placed it there for Ross, meandered through the 50, teed it up, banged it home. 3 in a row for the Tigers, and in quick succession at that. Jack Ross adds to the toll, and the margin grows to 11 points. 9-4 to 7-5. That is the biggest lead thus far. A play of the day. See AFLW live in Mildura. Richmond versus GWS, October 23.
1 and 2 for scores per inside 50. Accuracy 1 and 2. You're seeing that's why it's a shootout. They're just so efficient. They're so potent going forward. They take half chances and they punish both sides.
I thought a few of the Tiger youngsters had some nervous moments in the first quarter, but gee, they've been good in the second quarter, haven't they? Particularly Sonsi of late, and Rioli and Ross, and Cumberland. And the Tiger fans turned to chant. Back in the middle. McStay jumped early. Nankervis has his way though. Gets the handball out. Ross, they're searching again. Pick it out on the wing. Darts back onto the inside. His kick was smothered by Berry. Loose ball still to be won. Who wants it? Everyone was a bit uncertain. Bailey took it and then he is taken and not penalised. The umpire crouched to look as if he might have been about to deem it holding the ball. But in the end, he decided it was worthy only of a ball up. Richmond threatening. They've kicked the last 3. Nankervis rucking against McStay, who took front position, got the tap down, but went straight to Rioli. They flick it around. Sonsi, casually, off the left, about the bounce. It took a sharp one back towards goal, but Andrews was positioned between there and the goals and sheltered it through. 7-5-47 Brisbane. They're stuck. It's Richmond 9-5-59, threatening to take it away. They lead by 12 on the Maccas scoreboard. The Monopoly game at Maccas is back.
Rich is going to play the outer side. Leaves the defensive goal square. Takes all the territory that he can. Danaher had a fly at the pack. Ball jarred to the back. Berry against the flow. Shoveled a hand pass up to Neal. Fashions a kick down the interchange side of the ground. It runs away from Gipkiss. Hipwood the other way. He's happy to knock it over. Throw it in for Spitwater, tough and ready. Have you got the inside 50s up, Brad, by any chance, for safety steel sheds?
Tigers have taken 10 marks inside 50s to 4.
Wow.
I think that's the whole match.
Centre wing, throw in. The 2 number 25s in the ruck. Nankervis, 2 hands down to the front. Shea Bolton got hold of the footy. Hand pass to Prestia. They got out the front of the stoppage. Kick for Dusty. 1-on-1 with Gardner. Payne lends a hand. Knocks it off to Andrews. Clears the defensive area, but it's a high ball, and Shea Bolton took the fly over Berry. He dropped the mark on the way down. Matheson is there to try to go against the flow, and he does it well. McStay, Neal, Bailey, McCarthy, they all have touches. McCarthy's kick is for Hipwood. He led up underneath it. Charlie Cameron threatens, slapped it over his head. Hipwood, goal. Wizardry from Charlie Cameron. Hipwood to the line for his 3rd. And every time it enters, it finds a way through the big sticks. 8-5-53 Brisbane. 9-5-59 Richmond. 3 minutes and 25 seconds to play in the half.
Inside 50s this quarter, Eagle. What a brilliant bit of thinking from Charlie there, Brad.
You can't coach that. That's instinct. That's the ability to play a lot of games together. Those guys have now played a lot of footy. Just would have been a small little bit of communication. Maybe you saw him out of the corner of his eye, but you cannot coach that. That's just unbelievable play. And we keep talking about the potency at both ends. That's just a great example of it. Both had even inside 50s, so you're saying 30 to 29 Richmond's way, so there's nothing in it. But every time they go in, they just look like they're going to score.
Oh, gee, that was good.
Left hand over his head.
Great replay for Carsales. Everything you ought to know. The umpire's going to get a second crack at it, so we can have another look at the replay. Despite the efforts of Bolter, Hipwood saluted with his 3rd. Back in the middle, Nankervis climbs the high, put it down the throat of Prestia, kicks it inside 50. Revolt didn't take possession. Rioli tried to reel it in. He couldn't. He approaches it now. He's got it, but he's stripped of it immediately. Wilmot puts his head over the ball, matched by Revolt in endeavour and technique. And we're going to have a ball up at the end of all of that. 55 out from Richmond's goal.
Noah Cumberland's gone down to the rooms for Spitwater, tough and ready.
6 points is the margin, then Curvis the tap again. Cochin just able to shake it clear. Here's Wilmot, stepped on through Tim Watson style. Through it, should have been penalised, wasn't. Neil, constructive handball to the outside. Pryor, well-weighted kick, you got to go, McCarthy. Eventually, reluctantly, he realised. He took the mark, speared it with a rush of blood inside 50. It got through. Bailey misfires badly at goal. Probably luckily for the Lions, it bounces and goes out of bounds rather than through for a behind, because they can potentially still score a major here, but that's a missed opportunity.
The way the Lions are setting up with even numbers ahead of the ball, if they can get their stoppage game going, they're the looks that Charlie's going to get or Zach Bailey's going to get out in space. So if they get the upper hand here with McStay in the ruck, they're going to score.
Great to have Brad Miller's insights on AFL Nation. Throw in forward pocket. McStay muscled his way to the front, grabbed the footy, didn't know what to do with it. And the ball got away from him. It's cleared by Sonsi, who looks like a 120 game player rather than one in single figures. Kick goes out to the wing. It dribbled over the line and out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Richmond's lead is 6. There's 2.5 to go on the Makita clock. Makita Rulli outdoors.
Hoiked into play. Nankervis and McStay. Nankervis front position. Didn't make a whole lot of it. Cochin taken to ground by Zorko. Ball slips around. Zorko shares it with Berry and gets it back. Kicks the Lions inside 50. Off hands to Daniel. Hit hard by Hipwood and dispossessed. And it unfairly. Now Hipwood, the free kick against for a dangerous tackle. Pickett didn't like it. Daniel Rioli is slow to rise. Bit of concern. First look at the replay. It's player in a vulnerable position. Slapped head first into the turf by Hipwood. He was propelling himself into the tackle, so there's no second movement. It was all on the full momentum of the way he went about it. Daniel Rioli's okay. He kicks long down the line. Lynch knocks it on Richmond style to take the territory. Rich, though, stood against the runners. Hoiks it back to half forward. It's an untidy kick. In fact, it's out of bounds on the fall.
6 points remains the margin. Everyone takes a breath. The ball is retrieved and returned to Broad. The right half back for the Tigers. Wipes the sweat off the brow and then kicks up along the boundary. To half forward, Lynch denied again. Lovely spoil by Harris Andrews. His head's in the game. A mean-looking Damien Hardwick watching on from the box with arms crossed. Ball back over the line and out of bounds. Pensive feel around the Gabba in this opening final. Everything we could have hoped for so far. 6 point lead. On a knife's edge. Tap down Nankervis. He followed up with a handball. Neil will get there first. Retrieved it back against the line. A handball forward just to McCluggage. Squeezed a further handball to Matheson. To half forward, Bailey threatens once it hits the ground. He's overwhelmed by the numbers. Great collect by Short, so low to the ground. Handballs are chained off. It slipped off the chain. And then it's taken over to safety by the Tigers. Crowd hopefully plead for a deliberate not to be. Throw in, though, in Brisbane's front half, so they'll get first play at a late score with 1:15 remaining.
Richmond by a goal. Tossed in. McStay just couldn't move Nankervis, but he knocked it straight down to McCluggage. Dispossessed. Charlie Cameron's taken to ground in the tackle. Umpire quickly on the scene to ball it up. 5 goals to 4 this term in Richmond's favour. Had the ball up. McStay cleared the way. Took it clean out of the ruck. Had nobody to hand pass it to, though. Aimless stuff. Pickett gathers near the boundary. Gives it back to Broad. Found a path through. Got right under the kick, though. It'll fall in short of wherever it was going to head. Bounces up over the top of the interchange gates. It'll need to be thrown in as the staffers hold up the 60-second sign, so all the players are aware. It's a high-tech game.
What happened to those special digital message boards that came out? They lasted about 3 weeks, didn't they?
Boundary throw in. Nankervis stands his ground, taps it down. Berry has first play. He's dragged it in. He would need to release it. He does. Shot the hand pass out. McCarthy tries to keep forward momentum for the Lions. Bolter slapped it straight into Neil and then had more success the second time. Daniel Rioli lent a hand. Ross ran out of space. Dispossessed by McCluggage, who wins holding the ball. The Lions get this late chance to tie it up. Kick to full forward. Hipwood flies. Knocked away. Berry underneath. Gives it off. Neil around the corner. Didn't get enough on it. It's marked by Broad against the behind post as the seconds tick down.
Big news on the sub front for Richmond. I think it's Dion Prestia who's been subbed off.
Oh.
Shane Edwards is into the game. Broad with only single figures remaining time-wise. They're going to get a last shot though, the Lions. Zorko on the siren. And well done by Tarrant. He just got there and shins it away. So Richmond's lead is 6 points after a captivating opening half. It's Richmond 9-5-59, leading Brisbane 8-5-53. Key players from both sides have been subbed out, with Oscar McInerney and Dion Prestia. Forlorn look, he's limping away, so one can only imagine it's a calf or something similar. Although he's not moving too badly as he heads towards the rooms, but something significant enough, obviously, to cause him to be subbed off at half-time. We'll get more news on that coming up.
Goal kickers, 3 for Hipwood, with singles to Archie, McCluggage, Cameron, Bailey and Wilmot. Well, for the Tigers, 2 for Bolton, singles to Martin, Ross, Revolt, Cochin, Daniel Rioli, Lynch and Cumberland. Richmond 9-5-59, leading Brisbane 8-5-53. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Tomorrow night at the MCG, it's Melbourne and Sydney who will do battle before Geelong and Collingwood on Saturday afternoon, and Fremantle and the Bulldogs on Saturday night. We are in the Coates Hire commentary box. For Coates, we're more than hire, we're equipped for anything.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for McDonald's. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back.
The Monopoly game at Macca's is back, with $578 million and prizes to be won. Prizes like free fuel for a year with Ampol, a $10,000 Webjet gift card and more. Download the My Macca's app and play today. Ends 18th of October. For full terms, visit mcdonalds.com.au.
If you've been injured on the road or at work, how far do you let it go on before you say, enough is enough? Make your stand with our TAC and work cover experts. Draw your line between right and wrong with Shine. Search Shine Lawyers to book a free consultation today. No win, no fee. Conditions apply.
Booked a holiday? Visiting friends interstate? Melbourne Airport is happy to be welcoming travellers back. Nothing beats the convenience, flexibility and great value when you park at Melbourne Airport. From just $12 a day, the Value Car Park offers exceptional value. And only a few minutes walk to check-in, Melbourne Airport's Terminal Car Park offers absolute convenience. Park with ease and peace of mind with Melbourne Airport. Book online today and save at melbourneairport.com.au.
Looking for innovative appliances designed with the environment in mind? Then look no further. For over 110 years, Whirlpool has been a leader in kitchen and laundry appliances. Using patented 6 Sense technology, Whirlpool guarantees outstanding results while saving precious time and energy. That's the best result for you, your family and the environment. So, have you got a Whirlpool? Visit whirlpool.com.au to find a stockist near you.
Indian Motorcycle challenge themselves every day to live up to the passion and trailblazing spirit of their founders by pushing themselves to be the driving force in what's next, with a commitment that defines American craftsmanship and produces the most beautiful motorcycles, recognized around the world. History remembers the game changers. Make the first move. Visit your nearest dealer today. Indian Motorcycle, America's first motorcycle company since 1901.
Steel Solutions, Houston speaking.
Houston, we have a problem.
Okay, what's happened?
I'm doing a reno and my bricklayer needs some galvanised steel lintels in different lengths and sizes. Who would do that?
Relax, mate. We've got all the steel you'll need and we'll cut it to the lengths you want. You only pay for what you need and you can get it delivered or pick it up.
Houston, we don't have a problem. problem anymore.
That's kind of why they call us Steel Solutions.
Steel Solutions. The steel you need when you need it. Sunshine, Bayswater and Springvale. steelsolutions.com.au.
If there's one sound that means it's September, you'd agree this is it. And nothing goes better with footy finals than a Thirsty Camel. Bottle shop, that is. With great specials like VB Carlton Draft or Great Northern Super Crisp 3.5% 10 packs $23.99. Jim Beam or Canadian Club 1 litre $57.99 or $50.99 for Hump Club members. The Camel is calling this September. Find your local at thirstycamel.com.au. Ends 4th September. Prices may vary in country areas. Hydrate responsibly.
When you need the job done right, you want your pressure cleaner built like your team, tough and ready. Our brand new look Splitwater kicks the goals and gets the checkered flag every time by solving the problems the others can't. So when you're after the game changer, just reach for the tough and ready Splitwater pressure cleaner, made in Australia since 1982. Want to see the new Splitwater? Call 1-800-SPLITWATER now or go to splitwater.com.au.
Wood heaters, gas, log fires, factory direct. Illusion and Ultimate's biggest ever end of season mega sale with prices slashed. Wood heaters from $5.99. Gas log fires from $19.99. Dandenong, Epping and North Geelong. Illusionfires.com.au.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now. Maccas, I'm loving it moments. Download the My Maccas app and get in the game today.
Far off. Oh, look at Bolton in a flash into the square. Was he tackled high? It won't matter. What a player he is, Shea Bolton. Desperate lunge broad. Cameron stays at his feet and shows Shea Bolton what he can do.
Darcy Wilmot. What a stage to make your debut on. A chance to put his Lions in front. What adulation for the young man. Placed it there for Ross. Meandered through the 50. Teed it up. Banged it home. 3 in a row for the Tigers and in quick succession at that. I'm loving it moments for Maccas. Download the My Maccas app and get in the game today. Elimination final at the Gabba. It is Richmond by a goal. 9-5-59 to Brisbane 8-5 feet. In the Coates Hire commentary box. Coates, we're more than higher. We're equipped for anything. Let's break down how this has all unfolded so far. And the halftime floor show in an instant with Room View.
The Choices Flooring Halftime Floor Show. See your floor change in an instant with Room View.
Sing along at home to that if you like. If you can remember the Choices Flooring sting by now. There it is. Brad Miller, how have you seen it so far?
It's been an enthralling contest. I think with Oscar going down so early, it's had to change what Brisbane's nucleus are. They're a stoppage team, and with two different ruckmen that they're not used to being in there, they haven't been able to get the stoppage game on their terms. Clearances are fairly even. There's only 3 apart. So they've had to find another way. And at the moment, the handball game through the middle is when they've looked most vulnerable, Brisbane's ability to punish on turnover. The marks around the ground, the Lions have only had 26 where the Tigers have had 44. So if the Lions can find a way to control the game with some more marks, uncontested marks, and then being able to shift angles, I think you'll see them score even more. They'll look even more dangerous. In terms of the Andrews-Lynch matchup, which we spoke about at the start, I just think Harris Andrews is playing an outstanding game. He's been physical. He's been, strong in the air. He's tried to be too dominant and adventurous. He's actually just got his job done. It's just such a key matchup. I think he's almost one of the better players on the ground.
There's been a couple of other captivating ones. You've felt for Brandon Starcevic at times, what he's been asked to do and what he has done with great aplomb at various stages, but Shea Bolton's a hard man to keep under wraps.
He is. It takes a half a metre for him to be able to turn something out of nothing, and we've seen him do that on a number of occasions. Charlie's the same up the other end, Charlie Cameron, so he only needs a half metre, and we saw that tiniest little opportunity to create a goal for his team. I don't think you can underestimate the importance of Eric Hipwood. I know he's kicked 3 from 7 touches, but like I mentioned earlier, it's his ability to halve contests, come out, get it to the front, bring others into the game, that I think would be most pleasing for the Lions coaches.
The stats wrap, Hutto, for Safety Steel Sheds, designed to say, built to last.
Yeah, Brad's touched on a couple of the broader ones. The handball, 18 more handballs that Brisbane have had, and Richmond just up in the contested possession. It was most 13. Richmond 6 up in the contested possession, and more of a possession game with the Tigers, and they've had 10 marks to 4 inside 50, so some of that more controlled ball use, and I guess true to form really, the one-on-one stuff, 8 contested marks to 2. Individually, Neil with 20 disposals, the most on the ground. McStay, 5 score involvements, the most on the ground. He's had to play a different role than expected, and Sonsi's had more of the footy than any other player for the Tigers with 15.
The Amy Clanger, who covers Clangers, just seemed to lose all of his bearings. There was an advantage that the Tigers took, which I'm not sure he fully grasped.
No, I don't think he did.
He stood and took a tackle, got knocked off holding the ball, seemed a bit confused about that, didn't give the ball back, and went for 50 as well, much to the wonderful exasperation of Damien Hardwick.
Yes, he was quite an entertainment in himself, wasn't he? As the coaches often are, but he wears it pretty hard, this Dimmer.
I wonder if he got some feedback when he walked up.
Hopefully enough minutes had passed that maybe he didn't. Who's the player of the day so far for Whirlpool, designed for environment, Brad?
Well, I mentioned Harris before. I think he's playing such an important role. Eric Hipwood up forward. I love Hugh McCluggage's game as well. He's so efficient. He takes such pride in his disposal, and something often comes of it. He's so balanced, and his ability to hit targets. I know Lachie Neal's got a lot of the footy. 15 of his 20 possessions have been handballs around the contest. So Hugh McCluggage's ability to be damaging by foot has really stood out for me. And
the Australian-made smart play, it's important to buy Australian right now. So Charlie Cameron's deft left-hand tap over his head to Eric Hipwood. That's a thing of beauty, Brad.
Like I said before, you just can't coach it. You just got to be able to step back and give him the freedom to be able to do that. Might not come off all the time, but when it does, it just looks like two guys are on the same page singing from the same hymn book.
Support Aussie-made products. Now, the injury update has been significant for victorsports.com.au. Oscar McInerney in the first few minutes of the match with a knock to the face and to the head. He was bloodied really early. He's been a bit sick.
We think it's a hamstring.
For Prestia?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped ahead there.
Yeah, you did. So that's terrible for Prestia, isn't it? Another soft tissue injury.
It is, and he's such an important player for them in terms of the rest of the finals. Brad, that could be really pivotal.
Well, it is, absolutely. And likewise with Oscar. We spoke before, if that's concussion, it could be a bad one. Let's hope it's not, but he'll go into concussion protocols if that is the case. But he's such an important player for how the Lions want to play, as is Prestia. It's such a experienced midfielder.
How have they managed the ruck scenario with... So McStay and Danaher have gone in. We've changed their forward mix a little bit, and probably for the better.
Well, I think it's working ahead of the footy, having Joe Danaher up in the ruck for a little bit more, which has exposed Eric. Eric's been able to kick goals like we spoke about. Now, they're not getting their hands on the footy. They only had the 9 hit-outs. I think they're being dominated in the actual ruck, hits to advantage hits, and that's just a good midfield, being able to adjust on the fly and not let that blow out because of what's happened early in the game.
Unmissable moments for Drinkwise, choose to Drinkwise. So beautifully captured by Hutto there at one end. Shea Bolton finds with 2 steps space that simply isn't there. And at the other end, Charlie Cameron, totally off balance, it seems, still manages to be able to drift a ball through the big sticks.
That's why we come. It's why you pay for a ticket, to watch guys like that play on instinct and play free. And it's remarkable. I don't even know how Shai didn't go out. It looked like he was going out for all money, and he was able to somehow balance himself up, step around the point post and avoid 2. Just special.
It's Rich Shield for the MEGT Rookie of the Day. Your career, your business, their job. So at the end of the night, Brad, you're going to have to choose between some of these. Noah Cumberland, Tyler Sonsi, Ben Miller, Morris Rioli have all had their moments, and a couple of them with real influence. And then on the other side of the sheet, Dusty Wilmot on debut in a final is a rare category. We're talking sort of half a dozen players since Dermot Brereton, and he's had some really good moments.
Absolutely. I've loved his speed. His ability to finish that last goal was such a great moment for a kid on debut. Tyler Sonzi's had a lot of the ball. He's had 15 touches. He's definitely playing his part. So, yeah, to be able to do that in a final with such high stakes and high pressure, it's, I think it's a testament to their purity.
EGT supporting employers and apprentices for more than 40 years. Call 13 MEGT. The score, half-time of this elimination final at the Gabba, Richmond 9-5-59, leading the Brisbane Lions 8-5-53. We'll have more. There'll be a lot of strategic adjustments being spoken about, I suspect, Coach Box. That's where you live these days. We'll get your insights on that next. That's the half-time floor show. Thanks to Choices Lawyering.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
Pathosan's HOCl-based cleaning products are bringing a cleaning revolution to Australia. HOCl kills 99.99% of microbial pathogens and viruses, including COVID-19. HOCl is 100 times more powerful than chlorine bleach, whilst being safe to touch, no PPE required. Pathosans is perfect for use in all industries, including manufacturing, food production, hospitality, healthcare, as well as in the office or at home. So visit pathosans.com.au today.
Booked a holiday? Visiting friends interstate? Melbourne Airport is happy to be welcoming travellers back. Nothing beats the convenience, flexibility and great value when you park at Melbourne Airport. From just $12 a day, the Value Car Park offers exceptional value. And only a few minutes walk to check-in, Melbourne Airport's Terminal Car Park offers absolute convenience. Park with ease and peace of mind with Melbourne Airport. Book online today and save at melbourneairport.com.au.
At a live celebration, I saw the family bring out toys from when we were growing up, and it brought out a lot of great memories.
So the thing that I've seen at a life celebration was stand up and dance on the tables.
Lots of smiling, singing, dancing, a few beers.
Whether you want to celebrate your life at your local sports club or have loved ones paddle out in the middle of the ocean and scatter your ashes, Tobin Brothers Funerals can make that possible. Get to know the team at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
If there's one sound that means it's September, you'd agree this is it. And nothing goes better with footy finals than a thirsty camel. Bottle shop, that is. With great specials like VB, Carlton Draft or Great Northern Super Crisp 3.5% 10 packs, $23.99. Jim Beam or Canadian Club 1 litre, $57.99 or $50.99 for Hump Club members. The camel is calling this September. Find your local at thirstycamel.com.au. Ends 4th September. Prices may vary in country areas. Hydrate responsibly.
Go on, make the call. We all believe in you. One at a time, please. Thousands of Aussies keep switching to Kogan Mobile. But hurry right now. You can get started with Kogan from just $2.90 for 30 days. With unlimited calls and texts and a big 20 gig of data at award-winning prepaid prices. Make the call. Switch to Kogan Mobile from just $2.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au/radio.
Restaurants, cafes and takeaway outlets, it's time to deliver it. Deliver It has provided Melbourne's hospitality venues an integrated point-of-sale solutions for over 25 years. Deliver It make it easy for you to take, receive and fulfill your orders with their best-in-market integrations with Uber Eats, Menulog, Google Food Ordering and DoorDash Drive. They're all the tools you need in one easy-to-use system. Restaurants, it's time to demand more. It's time to deliver it. Deliverit.com.au.
Keep your eyes closed. Almost there. And open them.
You've taken me to a Chemist Warehouse.
Yep, for the footy finals half-price vitamin sale. Knew you'd love it. Get half price on big brand vitamins, including Swiss, Synovus, Bioglan, Nature's Way, Blackmore's, Lifespace, Nature's Own, Go Healthy, and more. Sale excludes bulk sizes. Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Crust pizza is pizza perfection. Every Australian has their favourite. Like Jake, who plays Thursday night footy with the boys and loves a pepperoni pizza after the siren. Or Monica, who's conquering esports online while biting into a Crust Supreme. Or Dylan, dedicated surfer and champion of the environment. He's living on the veg with Crust's new plant-based protein range. Crust Pizza. It's pizza crafted for pizza lovers. Order online at crustpizza.com.au.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
8 lead changes in the first half, Richmond by a goal. Brad Miller, have you got a focus area or two that might have occupied the coaches' minds?
I think the Lions coaches' box will be concerned about the speed. They'll be trying to control the speed of the game to not ignite Richmond's turnover game. They'll be trying to take more uncontested marks and control the speed, definitely. 6 ahead at stoppage is working, so I think they need Charlie Cameron in as much space as he can possibly get. And on the flip side of that, I think Richmond will be looking to try and generate a spare. So do they drop their winger back a little bit to entice a stalk up, which will then give them a free? Because Richmond look best when Nick Vlaston's free.
Opening bounce of the second half for Tyre Power, tyre safety experts week in, week out. Anthony Hudson.
So what awaits us now? McStay, well rested at half-time. In combat with Nankervis, they got the tap. Dusty's in the middle. He overruns the footy. So does Bolton. So a bit of a change up there. Neil came out with ball in hand. Back to Coleman. No time for his beautiful style. Just got it to centre half forward as quick as possible. Hipwood tried to spin through the pack and failed. Robertson got it to the outside. Cameron threatened to get away. He was slowed down. Back to Robinson. High kick. Front of the goals. Flostone got the spoil. And then followed it up pretty well, but picked up by Hipwood. In fact, he didn't really pick it up. He just handballed immediately to McCluggage, who had company. And a ball up was inevitable, it seems. 40 metres out from goal. It will take place. Thrown up by the umpire now. Nankervis grabbed the ball, then McStay tried to rip it out of his hands with only partial success. Picked up by Neil on the 50. Coleman got buffeted by Edwards, the activated sub for the Tigers. And then they all went tumbling in, ball in hand, locked up. Was Rioli and Coleman, and Gibcus, who walks away and hands it back to the umpire for a ball up right on the 50.
It's played in close confines at the start of the half. Nankervis knocked it down. McStay, though, goes hunting after the footy. McIntosh impeded him. Edwards' first involvement's a good one. Feeds a hand pass to Nankervis, then Pickett ran into some space. He glides the kick up near Martin. Spoil made over the top by Gardner. Berry waits underneath. Brisbane on the counter-attack. Now to Starcevic. Got the kick away in the nick of time. Finds its way to McStay. He had his kick smothered by Floston. He didn't get far enough back. A wasted entry. Bolter brings it out to Pickett, who marks in front of our broadcast position.
It was a clever kick from Bolter, who adapted it so that Pickett could mark. Now he runs on, drives the kick for Lynch, entwined with Andrews, who again found the right time to come off and put a fist into the footy and get it out of bounds. Richmond's lead is 6. They're looking to build on that here. Lynch goes back to the goal square with Andrews. So Martin's also there. His time in the middle didn't last long. Gardner is his opponent still. Throw in will drop a fraction short. They tried hard for front position. McStay did pretty well. Pushed to ground though. Robertson just eked a handball out barely. Sonsi came charging through. So did McCluggage. What an appetite for the footy. Fumbled initially. Time and space they were with him. Handball to Bailey. They are surging now, the Lions. Neil further to the outside. Just forward to the wing. McCarthy. He fooled Rioli. And then kicked for Danaher, but just went too far. And that gave access to the likes of Broad and Tarrant, and Broad got across to fist it out. But that's better ball movement by the Lions. Playing the percentages. Getting the ball forward. Throw in now. Forward pocket. Danaher. Wary of Nankervis, who got the tap. Zorko, hand to foot. So quick. It pitches at the top of the square. Flostone vulnerable. McCarthy runs him down quickly, but it was almost too quickly. There was no prior, so we'll have a ball up at the top of the goal square.
Lions attacking, down by a goal. Ruckman sorted out. Danaher comes from a little way back. Nankervis, though, wins the tap out into the pocket and works well for McIntosh. Kicked it off the outside of the boot. Rich got rid of Morris Rioli to try to open things up, then got clipped high in all the contacts.
Free
and
kick.
I think that looked like a free kick.
Yep.
It was head down and Jack Revolt hurtling in from the side. Just took him in the head. The mark is set 50 metres out from goal, so you well know that puts Rich within range. And the crowd starts to warm to that as well. Some fans rise and point to the big sticks. Daniel Rich at right half gives himself momentum, winds it up. Rich unloads at the goal front. Great carry right to the line. Nankervis up. Touches it through for a behind. 5-point leaders, the Tigers. Mate Internet and Mobile Scoreboard make the switch to Mate Mobile.
Just feel Rich hasn't quite got the same penetration he once had. Short on the way out. Kicks along to the wing. Dustin Martin got a bit of a shove. It was gentle enough, according to the umpire, to Gardner, who was then able to take the mark unimpeded. The Lions play it back through the middle. They play it short and slow, but effectively enough to the middle where McStay can launch if he chooses. No, he keeps that line pushing across the ground. Rich marks just in front of McIntosh. Now he can turn on the left and powerful low bullet. That was brilliant. Right onto the chest of McCarthy. That is where his foot skills are still exquisite. And McCarthy could have the shot.
You can see that's a clear shift in how they've come out and decided to play. They're now trying to possess the footy, being able to change angles like that to a point where they can go, and Rich is such a penetrating, dangerous kick. They've already shifted the angles, which has exposed the Richmond defence, and they're able to mark the footy.
Now they need to capitalise on their good work. Once again, to give the Lions a lead by 1 point. If McCarthy can kick as he desires, distance not an issue. 35 to 40 metres out. It's through. It was through right from the start. He knew it. And now everybody does around the Gabba. The Lions get the first of the third and they take the lead. Are they making their move? 9-6-60. 9-5-59. What a final we have to start proceedings in 2022.
It's now back onto Richmond. How much do you want to defend? If they want to start playing that uncontested mark game, they just have to tighten up and force them long down to a contest to get it back onto Richmond's terms, which no doubt they'll do. But yeah, they've shown clear intent that they want to shift the ball now.
It was a play of the day. Visit mildura.com.au. McCarthy gets his first. And the ball returns to the middle. 60 plays 59. The Lions lead it. The second half doubtless loaded with such critical moments. Up she goes. Nankervis wins the tap. Neal's hunting the footy. He has it. He drops it onto the right boot. Good depth on the entry. Danaher got up. Couldn't hold the mark in. Flockstone tackled it. Fell off his hand. Daniel Rioli hacked it away. But he kicked it straight to Neal. Lockie Neal chances his arm. Danaher got that all wrong as he went up over the top of Tarrant. Pryor kicked it through in the aftermath, but it was a clear free kick to Tarrant. He could have picked that free kick from Melbourne.
Gee, they're dominating the contest early, aren't they, the Lions, in this third quarter? Give you some numbers to support that in a moment. Gibbs kicks away through the hands of the lunging Lynch. Picked up by Andrews. Left foot kick was only half smothered. It wobbles towards Pickett versus Hipwood at ground level. Knocked away. Got through Matheson's hands. Bursting Martin, but he's running away from his goal, which is close to the Brisbane attacking area. 35 metres out, and they force a ball up. So the Richmond defence under siege right now. Nankervis left-handed tap down. Picked up by Hipwood, though. Screws it back to about 30 metres out from goal on all sorts of weird angles at pitches. Cumberland will trace it and track it. Get there first. He ran over the ball. Bailey curled it back towards goal. Bounce. Archie does the lifting. Did he push it in the back? He did. He interfered. No, it's coming back. It's a Richmond free. McCarthy's kicked the goal, but it's not going to count. Richmond players saying it should be 50. But perhaps they were unaware, genuinely unaware, and it's coming back to Baker off that last, or it is 50.
It is now, yeah. It was too much, it was far too long after the whistle, unless you're taking the generous interpretation that nobody heard it. Baker is brought up into the centre square as a result, and that's where Richmond can start their foray from. He slings it out the side to Tarrant. But there's no obvious move forwards. A slow play. He'll let fly to half forward and see if Lynch can get a run at it. He does, and he takes the mark strongly in front of the eyes. Too far out to threaten the goal front. Nankervis has gone down into the square, and Revolt's there as well. Lynch will land it, 20 out from the target. McStay had first run at it. Double-handed spoil. Ross, though, roves underneath. Hand pass to McIntosh around the corner with a kick. Gave it a great look. McIntosh strikes and reclaims the lead for Richmond. That is 10 lead changes to the early minutes of the third term. 10-5-65 to Brisbane, 9-6-60 on the Mate Internet and Mobile scoreboard. Make the switch to Mate Mobile.
It's easy to say from up here. You get two hands on a footy like Daniel McStay was able to get two hands on the spoil. Sometimes you take the risk and mark the ball there. Ends up back in the Richmond Tigers' hands, and that's a really good finish. He's not known for his goal kicking, Camden, but that's a really good finish across his body.
This quarter, 28 disposals to 14, contested possessions 13-7, and the inside 50 7-1. All in Brisbane's favour, but now that goal means the Tigers have leveled it back up on the scoreboard. And all those stats
for safety steel sheds.
Of course they are. All right, back in the middle. McStay, not showing any signs of tiring yet. Well read by Neil, tapped it to McCluggage. Leading up earnestly from half forward. He takes the mark. He handballs to Mitch Robinson. Tried to sidestep Rioli. He's got through. Another give to the outside. Neil. Bolton had to be avoided. He hesitated. He popped it up, and McStay had the energy to hang on and take the mark in front of Nankervis, who was coming, but he arrived too late.
He's had some sort of start to this quarter. Lockie Neal is just damaging out of centre bounce. He's kicking the ball. He's got such a nice kick. When the balance is favoured in his favour of his kicking over his handballing, geez, he can be dangerous, and he started so well.
Yeah, there was plenty coming at him, swirling around in his mind, but he was able to identify McStay, who now has to get back to his normal job and kick goals from 45 metres out. Brisbane back in front. Signs of an elimination final classic are clear at the 11-minute mark of the third term. Brisbane 10-6-66. Richmond 10-5-65. Another lead change.
Yes, a crucial moment for New Farm Australian through and through, Brad. And as Hardo mentioned, McStay's been asked to do an awful lot, and he is doing it tirelessly.
He's coming off for a rest.
Sometimes when that mix gets changed around, like these guys are natural forwards playing in the ruck, that tendency to want to stretch the ground and get inside 50 can really work, because you might have caught Nankervis just drifting behind, but really, really dangerous. Interestingly, the Lions have taken 10 marks to the Tigers 4 so far already, so it's telling.
Lions by a point. Bounced in the middle. Nankervis waited for it, brought it to ground. Danaher read that pretty well. He spilt it at the last. Robertson got knocked over. Martin to Cochin. Richmond win the clearance. Beautiful kick out in front of Lynch, who couldn't help but mark despite the late pressure of Andrews.
He's just got on top the last 5 minutes. That's two really strong grabs out in front of Harris Andrews. Good strong movement. He's been able to push off, and the kicks have really been to his advantage, but his strong hands, he doesn't drop those ones from out in front.
Dunstan Martin, Trent Cochin, the architects of the clearance. And now Tom Lynch to get it on the board. He is directly in front and 45 metres out. Lynch has kicked one. On the runway. Lynch right through the middle. It is classically goal for goal at the Gabba. And the lead changes are coming seemingly every minute. Richmond by 5, 11-5-71 to the Lions, 10-6-66. Mate Internet and Mobile scoreboard. Make the switch to Mate Mobile.
What a seesaw. This centre bounce becomes so critical. Saw the last one, Lockie Neal goes inside, they kick a goal. This one, out it comes from centre bounce. The time when you've got even numbers, 6-6-6. If you're able to waltz out with grass in front and can make a composed decision, geez, it's hard to stop for those defenders at either end.
Bendix breaks, big moments. Confident stopping. Bendix breaks. Dusty's prowling around in the middle, Hutto.
Having more impact in the middle, really, than he has up forward for most of the night. He's still there now. Danaher showing good ruck instincts, particularly when it hits the ground. It's given away free, having said that. It's going to Miller. Obviously didn't give Miller access at the jump. So Miller, the second ruck. Doesn't play it long at all. Instead, just took it conservatively out to the wing to Bolter. More of the same to Tarrant, who's just edged forward. And he's going to take the kick. Now, after sizing up the options, he goes as long as he can. Rioli to the front. Revolt can't quite hang on. And the ball drifts harmlessly over the line and out of bounds. 40 metres around from goal. 11.5.71 plays 10.6.66. And that, of course, is all on the Mate Internet and Mobile scoreboard. Make the switch to Mate Mobile. Danaher from behind, beaten by Miller. Dangerous position. The ball was socked, though, from Berry to Coleman. Got onto the boot, quick, smart. Hipwood should mark. Maybe just a little concerned by McCarthy's presence. Didn't want to hurt him, so he didn't take the mark, and now it's a loose ball. McIntosh made a great fist of it, but his handball was blind over his head. Neil managed to just scummage a ball forward, but it goes straight to short. His kick has much more length on it and more potency. It gets out the back. Revolt threatens. He's got it in the pocket. A wild handball, and he really didn't need to. Watch out, Joe, because Rioli was coming, but he got the kick away in the nick of time and was profitable in the end. He found Pryor, who gallops away and kicks badly out to the wing. Poor kick. It skids along the ground. Picked up by Baker. Just got through the McCluggage tackle, but he made it tough for Ross. And Pryor redeemed himself with an excellent tackle, forcing player and ball over the line for a throw-in. It's 71 Richmond. It's 66 Brisbane. It's a terrific elimination final midway through the third term.
Right half forward for the Tigers. Ball tossed into play. Ruckman shoulder to shoulder. Miller tapped it down. Edwards stripped to the footy by Pryor underneath. Edwards keeps going. He toes it forward. Takes a bit of territory. The same for Short. Up inside the 50. Bouncing ball. Martin's after it. Gardner wore him close. He did have a fistful of jumper. Umpire was unsighted. Throw it in. He was twitchy as all get out, Gardner there. And
it's twitchy watching.
Yes. He needlessly had a mittful of Dusty's jumper, and if he'd got knocked off for it, you couldn't have argued. 40 out from the Richmond goal. Tap down boundary side. Robertson sees it all the way back over. So a slight lull in proceedings. We've had a couple of minutes without a goal. Pensive fans, season on the line in the middle stages of the third term, and barely a breath in it. Miller got rid of Danaher illegally. No, it was something that happened off the ball. Wilmot has been paid the free kick. He links the hand pass up to Danaher, whose kick is partially smothered. The ricochet came back to Cumberland, bounced it at the goal front. Morris Rioli against the behind post. Oh, put a step on, open it up and kick a magnificent goal. Only the most instinctual can do that. It runs in the genes, and it can make opponents look silly. It provides Richmond with a buffer and all of us with a beaming smile as Morris Rioli makes his presence felt in a final. 12.5.77 to Brisbane, 10.6.66.
It's an unbelievable piece of individual brilliance, but again it comes off the back of a turnover, a rush of blood. Danaher wrapping around there. Wilmot's going to give that. He's a senior player, but he's wrapped around to someone who then gets smothered or he kicks to a contest. It just needed to show some composure there. Even if we take 55 metres off, long down the line, get it away from a dangerous area, Richmond don't kick a goal. It's the rush of blood.
And a costly one at that. It's back to 11 points. Centre bounce, little skew if. Tapped down by McStay, who's back out there. Robertson had to fight through. He did. He got it back to McStay, who kicks to centre half forward. Baker spoiled, but spoiled backwards. Rioli can't clear the danger. Robinson tapped it cleverly. Pryor, there's an opening to the square. Great. Dropped by Gibcus. Hipwood tries to round him in, round him up, but he took it over the line. Conceded the behind. There was pleasure pressure and presence there in terms of an opposition forward, so he's allowed to do that. It's back to 10 points.
Not a great kick from Gibcus, but it will find Dustin Martin, who leads up at half-back. He rolls and goes, and he kicks for Lynch, who's on out the back. It bursts through his hands. Andrews closes, Lynch off the ground, toppled over. He did get it up into the pocket. It spins over the boundary, and to the satisfaction of all, it will be thrown in.
Well, should it be thrown in, really?
Both umpires were looking at each other, and I don't think either were game to pay it.
Maybe because it spun like a top on the boundary.
If it was a defender doing that, there's no way they would have got the same latitude.
Richmond by 10 and in attack. Miller knocks it down. Goal side has to be dealt with. Coleman's first. High ball on the way out. Lynch watches it come over his shoulder and did a terrific job to mark the wobbling footy.
Did.
Without hesitation, he lays it off to the side for Baker. Lynch heads back down to the goal square. Baker's going to beat him down there, though, with the kick. Revolt had a fly. Came down without it. Underneath, Miller, nimble, off to Martin. Defenders clattered into each other. Back to Miller. One hand pass, too many, one fancies. Bailey off the ground, straight to short. Flings it at goal. It hangs and drifts and is punched away against the behind post for a throw-in.
Ooh, they're threatening, aren't they, Richmond, at the moment?
Took a really solid knock there, Darcy Gardner, as he careered into his own teammate.
Defenders working overtime. Miller versus McStay. Done some good things to number 46 for Richmond tonight. Tried to grab it out of the ruck, couldn't quite nab it. McStay had to temper his aggression, just towed it instead nicely to Berry. Kicks to Hipwood, who's carrying a lot of opposition. He's done a pretty good job, although Flosstone got to the ball by then. He'd skidded over the line and out of bounds, and that's a mini win and some respite for Brisbane's overworked defenders of late. Richmond by 10, 8.5 to go, Makita clock. Little rest is over now. Miller versus McStay again. McStay, good body work to the front. Robertson overran it. Cochin was taken to ground. He tapped it back for Ross and then off to Shea Bolton. Wobbles one to half forward. Coleman versus Rioli. Morris Jr. It's been an entertaining battle, that one. Coleman, not a natural defender, really. And Rioli's just such a natural, as Jared said, in the blood. Both sides, important players subbed out in the first half. Prestia just before the main break. McInerney at the start of the game almost. Miller stripped of it after he grabbed it out of the ruck. Handball back from Robertson to Starcevic. Could have been holding the ball. It was Starcevic, who was pretty much set up by the handball. He was tackled by two. Quick kick forward by Short. Pokes it in. Cumberland almost. Couldn't take the second bite. Lynch to Rioli in such a hurry. Now Short was searching for his left boot. Settled on a handball. Nankervis just chipped it blindly to the goal square. It was occupied primarily by Brisbane players. And Pryor, with that left foot Simon Black style and wearing his old number, was able to chisel it out to Matheson and then back to Pryor as they look to have a more measured exit this time. It's 77 Richmond, 67 Brisbane.
7.5 minutes to play in the third term on the Makita clock. We're all the outdoors with Makita. The switch across the face of goal is effective for Payne, and he bites off the long kick for Berry. Offloaded by Pickett. Nankervis to Pickett. Caught by Coleman. That's holding the ball. And the advantage is claimed by the Lions. Berry kicks it for Neal. Flosstone closed, as he always does. Made the spoil and the gather. Hand pass to Ross, who brings the Tigers out of half-back. Revolt on the long lead, takes the mark. Payne brought back to where he should be. Revolt's got the kick out wide for Morris Rioli. This has been a sustained period of attack from the Tigers. Can the Lions hold up? Now to Ross, and up to Lynch. Fierce kick. Lynch stopped it in flight. And for the third time this term, he marks in front of Andrews.
It was all 1-1 ahead of the footy again that time.
Nick Vlosten take a bow.
Yeah.
He covered so much ground there. Lachie Neale looked with certainty to kick a goal or at least take a mark. He just covered so much ground to make that spoil, which then results in Harris Andrews being under the pump. You can only defend so many repeat entries before the damn wall breaks.
The angle is to the left. The distance will be 35 metres. It's in good hands. Tom Lynch for the game-high lead. It's the Tigers by 16 as they convert territorial dominance onto the board. 13,583 to Brisbane, 10,767. Mate Internet and Mobile scoreboard, 5G mobile plans from $40. This is the time, Brad, isn't it? Is if the Lions can't level this up in play, in 5 minutes' time, it'll be away from them.
You'd have to think so. All momentum going towards the Tigers for a good 15-minute period. They've just had to defend, repeat inside 50s. Like we said then, the damn wall will break. I think the Tigers have made a small change. They're adamant now to free Nick Vlaston up from stoppage. I'm just trying to work out how they're getting that at the moment, but he's been able to influence the last 3 forays forward for the Lions, and it's just proving to be really difficult to get past him.
And Lockie Neal needs more help in the middle. Centre bounce. McStay had a good fist of it, but Nankervis followed up brilliantly. Slipped the handball to Cochin, didn't take possession, hacked it forward out of the air. Wilmot found himself in the right place. Lynch a little lucky perhaps not to give away 50 as he came in from the side. Wilmot was able to spot Zorko a little further afield, and more of the same to Rich. So the back edge of the square, do they go? No, not this time. Rich, patient. Back to Zorko. Rich runs past. Does he give it to him? No, he doesn't. Short from Zorko. Poor. Spoil from Bolton. Rioli all over it. He's bouncing his way clear. Lynch is away to the right. It wasn't a well-placed kick, although Andrews didn't try and mark. He spoilt. Now he hairs after it. Got an accommodating bounce. He sees Coleman 30 metres ahead and hits him on the chest. Coleman ignores the short from McCluggage. And now he gets 50. Not quite sure who did what, but I don't think it was Cumberland on the mark. I think it was somebody else, somewhere else. Everyone seemed a little confused. Coleman's taken what he's been given and then some. Runs on. Kicks it deep. Can Danaher get himself clear of Tarrant? No. Tarrant defended his spoil. Berry, cruel bounce. Pickett tackled immediately. Dropped it to ground and recovered. Got a handball, but it went straight to Robertson, who floated the handball to Cameron. This is your time, Charlie! Oh, yes, it is, as he charges to goal. There was no turning back, and he's kicked his second. And Brisbane aren't going to give up just yet, as Cameron runs a goal in. 11-7-73. Damien Hardwick shakes his head. Richmond a 13-5-83. 26 minutes gone in a captivating elimination final.
Every time the game's needed something, or the Lions have needed something, or Richmond have needed something, enter someone with sublime skill and talent. That's just amazing. The speed at which he took that ball, and then the composure to be able to run it into the goal line. No rush of blood. He's a special player.
In the 12 minutes before that, Richmond had 6 of the last 7 inside 50s. In fact, 9 of 13 inside 50s. 44 disposals to 26 and 17 contested possessions to 10. So to say that was a much-needed goal is a massive understatement.
The safety steal shared sits Richmond by 10. Back in the middle, Nankervis took it out of the ruck, didn't get any purchase on the kick. It slews out to the wing. Free kick going Richmond's way. It'll be McIntosh who was impeded at the contest. 4.5 minutes to play in the third term on the Makita clock. He launches it up to full forward. They grapple. Payne makes the spoil out toward the boundary and got it all the way there. Chris Fagan makes his assessments. They would dearly love to peg one more back before the final change. Fagan watches from the bench for Spitwater, tough and ready. It is at the other end. Nankervis clean out of the ruck. He has missed on the snap. McStay just toppled over on that occasion, and it was a free swing, but one that Nankervis couldn't quite negotiate. 11-point margin.
Daniel Rich settles over the task. Readies himself to bring it back into play. Just chips it to Zorko, who draws a few belated boos. He was going to kick it back to Rich and then realised there was some risk in all of that. And he played it short instead to Andrews, who kicks it back to Rich. So they haven't really gained much, but haven't given up anything yet. Rich still in the back pocket, pretty much. He could switch to Berry. It's not a bad option. He doesn't take it. Changed his mind at the last minute. Just wasn't quite brave enough. McCarthy gets some treatment, not paid as a free kick. They've turned it over. And Edwards usually delivers beautifully into the 50. This time, though, McCluggage was awake to it. and steps in when somebody needed to do just that. Takes the mark for Brisbane. Brought down by Rioli as he kicked it, but well done. And he's affected the kick. And it's marked by Pickett, who pokes it for Flostone. 65 metres out from goal. Lynch being watched carefully. Haven't really got the extra obviously back yet as they work the ball around the arc. This time to Baker. Like a mini Jeff Rains with that mane. Back from the good old 80s. Long into the pocket. Oh, Revolt had a look. Didn't take it. Berry going to be tackled by Rioli. He got high contact by Revolt. No, the umpire did not have the same view we had. And he calls for a ball up instead. That really should have been a free kick.
It's a really obvious replay for Carsales. Everything you ought to know. Instead, it's a ball up. The teeth of goal for Richmond. Dustin Martin tried to come charging through. Gardner stopped him in his tracks.
They've lost control of the ground here, the Lions. Their high forwards are up really, really high, and it's allowed Broad and Vlaston to sit free behind the ball.
Tigers by 11. Now Curvis down to Martin. Got it to his boot this time. Not enough penetration on the kick. Knocked on by Edwards. It goes out of play a metre around from the behind post.
What it allows is those quick kicks to come out. They'll always be outnumbered, the Lions. So they've got to find a way to pull their numbers back and even the contest.
Dusty is threatening to burst through one of these stoppages at any moment. At the throw in, Nankervis brings it to ground. McCluggage goes charging through. Gathers and clears for the Lions. It just eludes the outstretched hand of Baker, and Bailey's onto it. Gathers, stops his momentum, then brushes his way clear of Broad. Hand pass for Cameron. Knocked it on. They're after the loose ball. Gibcus cuts the angle, slips over. Cameron got to him. Robertson in the pocket, slots the goal. Charlie Cameron's endeavours without the ball that time change the flow, and the Lions get a late one heading to three-quarter time. They're within a kick, 5 points down. Crucial moment for New Farm, Australian through and through.
I think the Richmond coaches box will sit there puzzled. They had the ground set up exactly how they wanted. Broad was free, controlled the ground. Somehow Zach Bailey was able to win an outnumbered situation, and then Charlie Cameron's speed to close and put pressure on just creates an opportunity out of nothing. That ball from Bailey on the wing, that was unbelievable.
A trap, a weave, a dodge and a shake of a tackle, and then Gibcus had it under control, slipped over, hunted down by Cameron, and Robertson onto the spillage.
David Robertson finished it well. It's back to 5. Out of the middle, it will be Richmond prevailing. Ross handed it to Nankervis. Lusty kick inside 50 away from Dustin Martin. It comes back to Sonsi off the side of the boot. He's taken high.
It was ridiculous by Mitch Robertson.
Oh, dear. That's great for Richmond, but crazy by Mitch.
He just came charging through and launched himself into Sonsi after the ball was gone.
And got him high on the follow-through. So Sonsi, who's proved himself in just 7 games of AFL football to be more than up to the standard. A highly skilled player too, off both sides of the body. Has time to think about it here. All very well doing it in the home and away. But this is a final, this is a big stage, it doesn't matter. Not to Tyler Sonsi, he just drills it from 40 metres out. And Richmond's 2-goal advantage is restored. It's 11 points to be accurate, 14-6-90 to 12-7-79, and we haven't even reached three-quarter time. And this thrilling contest continues. Richmond have just had the edge all night. That's where the game has lived largely. Lots of lead changes, but mostly with Richmond narrowly in front.
We know he plays on the edge, and it's easy to say from up here, but those little moments there, for that to result in a goal, I think he'd be really frustrated with himself, Mitch Robertson.
There's tough and then there's dumb, and that was dumb. That's not the right circumstance in which to impose yourself physically. He's lucky that it hasn't ended worse than that. His best result was giving away a free kick, and his worst result was a suspension as he approaches that. 11 points restored for Richmond, and Curvis out of the ruck, got it to his boot. It drifts toward half forward. Sonsi knocked it on. Robinson trying to make amends. Kicks from half back to half forward. Loose ball. Bailey paddled it out the side, then gathered it himself. Hand pass to Danaher. This is his go from 50 out. Joe goes whack and got it there. He needed to get himself into it up front. And Joe Danaher with a rapid reply as the goals flow once more. There's still 57 seconds left in the third term. 13-7-85 Brisbane. Richmond 14-6-90. It's a term that has gone 34 minutes and counting.
It's been really important. Zach Bailey ahead of the footy.
Oh, yeah.
Again, just
he's their most threatening player in a way to win the ball in a 50-50, isn't he?
Just speed and being clean in big games. Just creates that opportunity, but he's had a fantastic quarter.
He's everything to them at the moment. The Whirlpool player of the day, kitchen and laundry appliances.
Could they get another before three-quarter time and tie it up, and then who knows? Will Richmond answer and get it back to a 2-goal margin? Danaher beaten conclusively by Nankervis, but he couldn't quite hand it off to Cochin, who fumbled on the follow-up, and he was taken high, laid out in a tackle, play on. Ross back to Nankervis, forward handball. McIntosh disposed of, brilliant tackle, went unrewarded by Berry. Half-distance kick by Zorko to a dangerous position. Nankervis takes it, 40 on the clock. High ball. Can Lynch or Revolt or even Cumberland will themselves onto the ball. Great spoil from Payne. Picked up by Bolton. He only barely took possession, and as a result, he couldn't control the ball drop. And it went skew-whiff out of bounds on the full, much to the relief and delight of the Brisbane fans. So 24 seconds on the clock. Daniel Rich has the footy.
He wanders out against the boundary. Kicks long down the broadcast wing. McStay flew one-handed. Nankervis knocked it back inboard. Bailey to Neal, who found the passage through, then linked the hand pass back to McStay. Hugged the boundary with a kick for Hipwood. Punched away once and twice by Gibcus to get it out of bounds.
Such a win for the Lions. Vlaston again was free, waiting to outnumber at ground level. Hipwood's ability just to halve the contest and get a stoppage 40 metres up the ground. Now they can reset.
Got to be tough for Hardyacker. Legendary gear. Tossed in. McStay got rid of Nankervis, and the siren beats any creativity at the stoppage. What a thrilling elimination final this is. Richmond by 5 points at three-quarter time. 14-6-90 to Brisbane 13-7-85. Multiple goal kickers. Lynch has kicked 3 and Shea Bolton 2 for the Tigers, while for the Lions 3 for Hipwood and 2 for Charlie Cameron. Brad Miller will tell you a thing or two about it coming up next, as everyone just takes a big deep breath, anticipating the thrilling climax.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Mate Internet and Mobile. Award-winning Aussie service. Mobile plans from $20.
The Monopoly game at Macca's is back, with $578 million in prizes to be won. Prizes like free fuel for a year with Ampol, a $10,000 Webjet gift card, and more. Download the My Macca's app and play today. Ends 18th of October. For full terms, visit mcdonalds.com.au.
Wood heaters, gas, log fires, factory direct. Illusion and Ultimate's biggest ever end-of-season mega sale with prices slashed. Wood heaters from $5.99. Gas log fires from $19.99. Dandenong, Epping and North Geelong. illusionfires.com.au.
At Total Tools, we won't be beaten on low prices this Father's Day. Not sure what to get, Dad? We've got you covered. Grab a Total Tools gift card so he can choose from over 60,000 tools and accessories from the world's biggest tool brands. He can use it to buy power tools, hand tools, auto tools, welders, generators, compressors, and so much more. All at low prices guaranteed. Our low prices will not be beaten this Father's Day. Total Tools. Low prices on every tool for every trade. Guaranteed.
Installerine. Installerine. Installerine.
For the hottest of hot party you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
The smart new Ream Easy Set controls your continuous flow water temperature from your smartphone. Accept nothing less than Australia's best.
Hi, I'm Lenny. I am an NFT. And before I started using Coinly, even I had NF idea how to do my crypto tax. Coinly works out all your crypto, NFT and DeFi tax obligations in minutes. It's no wonder it's Australia's #1 crypto tax tool. So if you want to sort out your crypto tax, get into Coinly. That's Coinly with a K.
Make crypto less taxing. It's time for spring racing. There's going to be big names and bigger moments. And while you're checking the form, we're checking the horses' form. While you're getting ready, our vets are attending every race. While you're taking selfies, we prefer taking scans. For every horse, we're here with the kind of love reserved for family. The race, the pace. It's time to be here for the horses. The Victorian Spring Racing Carnival. Here for the horses.
Take family fun to new heights and see the city come alive at Melbourne Skydeck while getting an incredible view of Melbourne like you've never seen it before. The whole family will enjoy the interactive and immersive experiences from the ground floor all the way up to the breathtaking scenery on level 88. This amazing experience at the Southern Hemisphere's highest observation deck will be a treasured and lifelong memory for all. Melbourne Skydeck. It's Melbourne on another level. Visit melbourneskydeck.com.au.
Booked a holiday? Visiting friends interstate? Melbourne Airport is happy to be welcoming travellers back. Nothing beats the convenience, flexibility and great value when you park at Melbourne Airport. From just $12 a day, the Value Car Park offers exceptional value. And only a few minutes walk to check-in, Melbourne Airport's Terminal Car Park offers absolute convenience. Park with ease and peace of mind with Melbourne Airport. Book online today and save at melbourneairport.com.au.
There's a lot to like about Passload's new Trim Master. Lower maintenance, improved performance, and everyday reliability all year round. Because if I want a fast professional finish, I need a job done well. Anyway, I'm not going to be banging on about it all day. Passload's all-new Trim Master. Out now.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now. Maccas, I'm loving it moments. Download the My Maccas app and get in the game today.
Hand pass to McIntosh around the corner with a kick. Gave it a great look. McIntosh strikes and reclaims the lead for Richmond. Bounced it in the goal front. Morris Rioli against the behind post. Oh, put a step on, open it up and kicked a magnificent goal. Only the most instinctual can do that.
Got a handball, but it went straight to Robertson, who floated the handball to Cameron. This is your time, Charlie!
Gibcus cuts the angle, slips over. Cameron got to him. Robertson in the pocket, slots the goal. I'm loving it moments for Maccas. Download the My Maccas app and get in the game today. Brad Miller, how does this get one from here as the Tigers by 5?
Absolutely. You saw a clear shift. So Brisbane in the first half took 26 marks and in the third quarter took 24. So what we spoke about at half-time, they've decided to possess the ball a lot more. It only resulted in 2 more marks inside 50. So they'd like to mark it inside 50 and capitalise on those moments more. So I think that's where Brisbane will win it. That controlled possession and defending with the ball, but being more efficient. And then I think Richmond really were adamant in that last part of the quarter to free Vlaston up at stoppage by dropping their winger back. That's when they're at their strongest. When he can intercept the ball and get them moving, that's when they look really dangerous.
Opening bounce to the final term coming for Tyre Power, your match day favourites for tyre safety. It seems destined to take us the distance. Only one goes on. The Lions and the Tigers into this final term we go. Nankervis unopposed in the ruck. McStay smothered his kick though. Bull spills loose. Neil leads the chase. Hand pass to Archie. Gets a hobble up to Harwood for Brisbane. It pitches and darts on. Foston came hard at it. It ended with Cameron and Charlie revving them up. Cameron's kicked his third and the Lions lead again. 14-7 to 14-6. Another centre bounce goal.
Really, really important, that centre bounce. Again, the tall just had to create a contest, so it was a ground ball contest, but he flew out there, Joe Danaher, and caused a big spillage, which then Charlie's good enough to be able to mop up and make the most of those opportunities.
Channel 7 reporting that Prestia's hamstring is a real hamstring, and he definitely won't be playing next week. He'll have scans on Monday.
It's such a pity for him. 11th lead change on the Omnia Specialties scoreboard, the science of growing.
Oh, Lions back in front in the opening minute and has the crowd fully amped. Centre bounce is a good one. Both ruckman jumped. Nankervis got the left-hand tap, but it's picked up by Neil. Gave it to Archie, and he's claimed immediately and successfully by McIntosh. Redoubtable in his approach. He gets up to his feet. Doesn't quite know where to head next. Most of the population on a direct line to goal, so he kicks it there. Cumberland came, couldn't take the mark. It bounced its way through multiple hands. Cochin at full stretch gave it off. Short tried to soccer it. Tapped away by Coleman. Picked up by Neil again. Gave it to Coleman, who rushed the kick unnecessarily. It bounces end on end, only as far as Gibcus, who winds his way through and delivered. As a Tiger down, play onto the call, whacked away by Edwards. Prior tackle didn't push him in the back, I don't think. And the umpire saw it the same way. It looked like he was going to fall forward into Lynch, but he didn't. Saved himself and his team. Umpire to throw it up. Ruckman approach. Nankervis could have been free kicked. Play on is the call. Coleman had a strip grab. Came back to Coleman. He got a clearing kick. High ball, wide ball, out on the full ball. And Pickett takes... Well, he took the mark anyway, but he'll have the shot, which will obviously not be easy. So does he go around and try and open the angle up? He's locked against the fence. It's only 45 metres out, so he should be able to get the distance to reclaim the lead from the tightest of angles. No, right across the face. They've got some marking presence there, though, and the Lions. Matheson takes the intercept and doesn't get a rush of blood, or at least not yet.
There's a lot of pointing going on for him, but most of the options have dried up, so it will have to be long on the way out to the interchange side of the ground. And Charlie Cameron leaping into the air early, takes the mark. He threatens to impose himself on this. Cameron, he too lets fly down the line. Not much scientific about it. The pack topples over. Bailey soccers it on. He's charging after his own footy. Reached it, got taken high, it seems.
Yep.
Umpire rushes in to pay the free kick, and Zach Bailey wins another critical contest. Car sales replay confirms that everything you ought to know. The mark is set at 48 metres out, and Bailey will start outside the boundary. It's a steep ask, but he has shown in key moments to be a goal kicker of great renown. Zach Bailey gives it its best chance from 52. It carries and carries and carries and drifts across the face. Through for a behind. Lions lead it by 2 on the Omnia Specialists scoreboard. It's the Omnia Specialties scoreboard, the science of growing.
Kick goes back out towards the wing. It's tapped away by Harris Andrews, but gathered by Martin. He didn't like what was on offer, so he handballed it back to Broad, who just curled one around the corner with no real thought, and the mark taken by Gardner. Coming up from defence, Darcy Gardner has looked a much more sure proposition tonight than he has in recent times. Called on by the umpire. His kick gives McCarthy a fly at it. Matched by Flostone, who prevailed. That is an outstanding mark. Out of position, but it didn't matter. Flostone kicks quickly to the wing. He saw Dusty. Impetuous, but restrains himself. Now he's off and around. Martin trots. Kicks to half forward. Lynch got worked under it. Okay, says the umpire. Harris Andrews takes the mark. Gets a lead in a dangerous, precarious position from McStay, who should have known better, really, than to lead there. Back to the wing, where the numbers are. Relative safety. McCarthy goes again, and again he's beaten by Flostone. This time not with the mark, but the spoil. lost such an important player. The ball is over the boundary line and out of bounds on the wing. It's 14-8-92 Brisbane, a slender lead over Richmond, 14-6-90. And a fantastic opening to this 2022 final series at the Gabba on a beautiful Brisbane night.
We've had all the excitement. The tension will settle right over it shortly. Matheson tried at the stoppage. Martin socketed forward. Bolton got knocked off it by Starcevic, and it opens up for McCluggage. He guides the ball up to McCarthy. He wants to go. He got a little lost. Cumberland almost got there to smother the kick. It's a good one, though. Out near the interchange gates for Zorko. McStay wanted it inboard. He did have runners inboard, including McCarthy, who came on the second effort. Coleman wanted it desperately. McCarthy's going deeper, though. Bailey flies. Couldn't hang on to the mark. Pickett hand passed it through for a rush behind, and he gets the benefit of the call. He was in the goal square. There was notional pressure around him, enough to the satisfaction of the umpire. And it makes it a 3-point lead to the Lions.
Quick kick back into play. He's okay to short. He gives out wide to Broad, who's not hurrying, but now he does see Pickett has got himself loose further up the ground. Bolter's going to do the same. So they've worked their way without any real opposition all the way to the wing, and Bolter can give another one to Ross, who got the offering on the wing, true wing, almost call it half forward now. Revolt into a little pocket, beautifully done. Great low-risk football by the Tigers, and it ends with Jack Revolt at the intersection of the 50 and the boundary. It's a tough test at this age and this point of Jack Revolt's wonderful career. Game 326. Came in with 752 goals tonight, and he has been a man who has been able to lift and kick the big goals time and time again. But this would be something special. Away to the right. I tell you what, it's online. It's got the journey. It's carried the pack. Wow, what a goal from Jack Revolt. Incredible. His second of the night. He can still be a killer. Richmond back in front.
Again, he's just found the distance with that little arc at the end there. They're two really remarkable kicks for Jack. He's not known for his long kicking, but when he can turn it into that play-on sort of situation, he's capable of anything.
It's the pensioners' rule, the standing
Such
rule.
a talent.
Sorry, Jack.
And he goes. Kept it low. It's a really good finish. Big moment.
It is a Bendix Breaks big moment. Confident stopping Bendix Breaks. So methodical to take the lead, as you referenced in the play that they put together. Almost as if it was drawn up. 12th lead change of the night. 9 minutes into the final term. Richmond by 3 points. Bounce back in the middle. McStay flies early. Clean tap down to Neal. He'll drop it up at full forward. Hipwood grapples. Can't mark. Free kick. Bailey with the advantage. Danaher with the goal. Lions the instant reply. They put their paws back in front. Lions by 3 on the Omnia Specialties scoreboard. The science of growing, 15-9 to 15-6.
Thank God he didn't stuff it up after they played the advantage.
Playing on, I thought he was going to. Again, the importance of centre bounce in the modern game with 6 ahead. Hipwood giving us a really good contest. It's not rocket science. You get it into your tall forwards who give you a genuine contest like Eric did again on that occasion, brought it to the front. And Zach Bailey at ground level, geez, been dangerous.
Much more like the player that emerged last year. Haven't seen a lot of him this year at that level, Zach Bailey.
He has been as good as I've seen at ground level tonight.
Yeah. And Brisbane are back in front. Tough watch for the Richmond coach, who's providing his own entertainment. Centre bounce. And Curvis crosses there. Tried to impose himself. Cochin socketed forward. Rioli took it but was tackled by Wilmot. They wrestle now at ground level. Rioli got up but the ball got jarred loose. To McCluggage has been important, and so is this man Neal, but he's beaten to the punch by Pickett. He was about to be tackled, got a handball away. Gipka ducked the head cleverly. Got taken high by Cameron, who gets a warn. In fact, it's Bolter. Gets warned by the umpire as Charlie Cameron. Bolter's spotted Ross. There's width again, out wide. There's sneaking their way along the flank. Across to Pickett, off the left boot to Revolt again. Can he do it? As he did before. He'll have a better angle this time and just be a metre or two closer. So in some ways, this time, the expectations are higher. We're getting closer to the end. Still 13 minutes 20. How many more goals will be kicked in this game? Both teams are approaching 100. Under Doom's old rule, the first one to 100 usually wins. This would take them to 102 and give them a 3-point lead. Revolt's got to kick it 48 metres, just 2 steps. That's all it takes. He's done it again.
Jack, stop it.
3 goals to Jack Revolt. An extraordinary display of kicking from both teams. 16-6, 102 to 15-9, 99. What a game of football. Try picking a winner.
Oh, wow. What a finish. He did that one differently. He didn't run around. He's obviously confident in the journey and he just put it through off two steps. What a finish.
Oh, just clutch, isn't it? Crucial moments for New Farm, Australian through and through. Crowd 35,013. All of Jack's 3 goals have been notable and memorable and absolutely decisive. 14th lead change. Ball back in the centre circle for Flight Centre, your front row seat centre. Have the Lions got the answer? That will be required once more. High bounce. Miller wins the tap and the follow-up. Hand passes the Tigers out in the path of Pickett. Linked it up to Bolton. Surely didn't quite get enough on it. There was grappling in the square, and it's a free kick going against Lynch to Andrews.
Wow.
Just for a moment, I thought it was going the other way.
So did I.
So did he.
So it's Andrews out of fullback. No score. It stays a 3-point margin.
He settles on the wide long kick. Danaher comes bounding out but didn't take the mark. The pack is crashed. It's loose underneath. They scurry for it. It's socket forward, but only as far as Vlostone. Always knows the kick ahead where the footy's going. And on the wing, underneath the big apartments that overshadow the Gabba these days. Deep to full forward, deep to Lynch. Jack sneaks out the back. The handball from Coleman was gutsy, but it worked well for Pryor. Left foot kick. You'll be numerically disadvantaged here, McStay. But he just bowled over Miller and then tapped it forward, only as far as Gipkus, who fumbled it cleverly over the line. And will have a throw. But that is a mini victory for the Lions. And claps and encouragement are given to McStay, who fought the good fight, as they all have tonight, in a thoroughly captivating elimination final. It's Richmond 16-6, 102. Brisbane 15-9, 99. Miller versus McStay. Miller, careful tap down, follow up. The ball just came loose due to Matheson's pressure. McCluggey's got a shove in the back, unseen. Picked up and thrashed forward McCarthy. Robinson, he was all arms and legs and he didn't quite know how to impede Baker, and ultimately he couldn't. And Baker's quick to look up below his kick. Might just invite in the Lions. Berry knows one way, and that's straight ahead stuff, and it's great. Took it over the line and out of bounds. And Brisbane will be rewarded for that guts and determination from Jared Berry with a throw in the forward pocket.
Not quite at the halfway mark of this final term. Richmond by 3. Boundary throw in with the Lions in attack. Danaher and Miller form up. Bailey on the move. Ball came the way of Cochin, stripped of it. Neal fed it out to Matheson. Got right under the kick. It wobbles to full forward. Hipwood made a contest. Robinson out the side. The ball's got momentum rushing toward the boundary, and it does go over.
Gee, that went a long way, that ball then. From the top of the goal square to the 50.
It turned wickedly away from the most dangerous of territories. Both sets of fans chanting for their players at the Gabba. Miller knocks it back to the boundary and took 20 metres in doing so. Every yard counts in such a final. They reset now, 65 out from the Brisbane goal.
Flaston again dropped off Zach Bailey at stoppage. He's free behind the ball.
Ball on its way into play. Miller controls the front, knocks it down for Pickett. He has a little bit of room and he uses it poorly. kicked it straight to Wilmot. Oh, he dropped the juggling mark. Morris Rioli threatens. It spills into the grasp of Cumberland. He kicks it out in front of Lynch. Lynch takes the mark 40 metres out from goal. Wilmot's moments, he just couldn't quite complete a mark that he had well under control. As it gets hotter and hotter at the end of the cutthroat final. Tom Lynch has watched Jack Riewoldt kick the most difficult of goals from the boundary. He is in the channel, going for his fourth. He's had a stirring duel with Harris Andrews. That time he was well clear of the defender. Lynch from 49 metres out. It's at the right-hand post. It's the wrong side of it. A minor score.
Surely it gets harder from here, those set shots.
Surely. The lactic acid in the legs.
The mental pressure. McCluggage marks the kick in. Well and good. Heads out along that wing, but Gibcus was able to gracefully fly the pack. Didn't take the mark. Robinson's onto it, but he tapped it well to Danaher. And then back to Pryor. Just stunts that left foot kick down the line. McStay flew at the ball, and it carried some over the pack and out of bounds near the boundary, so they can use the opportunity to get the players they want back out on the ground. Bolton ready to re-enter for Richmond shortly. Brisbane have got it to half forward. Charlie Cameron's in the back of the goal square. Throw in with Danaher, worked off the ball, but it got out the back to Bailey. Ever dangerous. Step through the traffic. Hand pass to Danaher. Caressed at the leading Hipwood. He turned Gibcus, but he was already over the line, alas. And so it's a throw in. Broad has the responsibility on Cameron. Brisbane trailing by 4 now, but they are in their attacking territory. 40 metres around is where our eyes are drawn on the throw-in. Nankervis and Danaher shoulder to shoulder. Nankervis the tap, whacked further away by McIntosh, only as far as Hipwood. Left foot kick, top of the square. Cameron denied, the fist came. McIntosh saw it first, but Matheson picks it up. He handballed in a rush. Maybe he could have burst through. He claims he was taken high. I think his claims were genuine. But he might be the boy who's cried woof a couple too many times. Got no favours from the umpire. It falls back over the line and out of bounds. And they form up with a vacant goal square, some 30 metres away. Throw in. McStay stayed away from Nankervis that time. Got the tap, but Broad sharked it. Smartly kicked too. Got it to the ever hard-working McIntosh, who can take some time at half-back with his side in front by 4. And on the Makita clock, 9 minutes still remaining. A pulsating footy.
McIntosh long down the line. Andrews and Lynch form up. The spoil made by the defender. Payne, Andrews and Neal conspire for the Lions to put it into the clutches of Archie. Hand passed over the top to McCluggage. Has a look inside 50. And McCarthy slides in to take the mark.
What about the big heavyweight battle that's going on between Lynch and Harris Andrews at the moment? They just keep throwing jabs at each other.
He's cutting it really fine too in what he's doing, isn't he, I reckon?
Absolutely.
Just doing enough to not give away the free, but make life difficult for Tom Lynch.
It's been really fascinating to watch. Both played really good games of footy, haven't given up, taken their moments.
The magnitude of each of these set shots now. Link McCarthy with his moment. Angle to the left. 45 metres out. Right foot drop. Punts. No. Near sides. It's a 3-point lead in Richmond's favour on the Omnia Specialties scoreboard. The science of growing. 7:43 to play.
Rioli trots into the back pocket. Has a bounce if you don't mind. And then gives it plenty up along the wing. Target was Lynch, and that was just so authoritative from Andrews. Worked Lynch forward and just thumped it straight back over the boundary line. So at least it's going to start in the front half for Brisbane. They trail now by 3. Nankervis opposed to Danaher this time. Danaher from behind, tapped it to the front. Cochin versus McCluggage, who was falling, so he couldn't do much with it, McCluggage. And I think he'll take another ball up. Still at half forward, 7 minutes 30 now to go. Petrol starting to run low for most. Tapped down to the outside, hacked forward by Zorko. In a rush they come. Spoils are made. Front of the pack, who wants the ball? Little handball from Baker was nimble enough. A slight fumble, Rioli, but good enough. Fast enough and clever enough to get away. Gave it to Baker. Off the instep, got it to short, to the outside to Ross. They're clear now. Rioli is surely in his sights. No, doesn't take it. That's covered. Well, still hasn't been properly covered down the line. Now it has been, so they weren't quite able to leverage the advantage that time. 7 minutes to go. Richmond in front and with the footy.
The short kick to Baker instead. He rifles it up to half forward where Miller manhandles Gardner, takes a mark, then almost misses his boots. Starcevic gathers the bumbled ball in defence. He's floored as he kicked it. It might have been downfield. No whistle on the play. Gibcus the spoil. Baker roving underneath. Hand pass misses Ross and it's out of bounds. Left half forward for Richmond with a 3-point lead. 6.5 to play in the final term. It's as tense as can be. Boundary throw in. Nankervis got rid of Danaher. Takes the footy. Shot the hand pass out near Pickett. He gathers. He roams onto the right boot. Has a look deep. Kicks in the Lynch direction. Spoil made by Coleman. Playing Crummer as Cumberland. Coleman wrapped him up. Forces a stoppage. Wide out, 48 away from the Richmond goal. There are fewer goals left in it than you might have imagined 10 minutes ago. Neal does the roving at the stoppage. Hand passes adventurously. Gardner can't make anything of it, and it spills away back out of play.
Oh, mistakes. There'll still be some critical ones from here. Who can take the initiative, though? What's the general approach going to be over this last 6 minutes? Ball on its way back into play now on the 50. No one to ruck against Miller. He hand passed it just a little bit too forcefully to Nankervis, and it goes over and out. So we'll have a throw in. Richmond still lead by 3. This time it's outside the forward 50. 4 players have kicked 3 goals. 2 on either side. Revolt and Lynch, Cameron and Hipwood. Throwing it half forward. McStay did pretty well. Broke even. He tried to handball, but it's stolen by Pickett. Off the outside of the boot. It's high. It's wide. It's punched away by Andrews again. Stopping Lynch in his tracks. Archie worried about the man. Lynch worried about the ball. But he's covered. He's circled by Lions. If it stays in, they can run it. They can. McCarthy from Archie. They can't run it because there's a rundown tackle. It was brilliant, tigerish stuff. And it was Shane Edwards, the veteran, the man they didn't deem to be good enough to be in their starting 22 on those weary legs, who still had to run to hunt down Link McCarthy. And now he's passed the ball off to Baker, who's still outside the 50, so really not much more likely of landing a blow. But he gives it everything. He's missed everything. Out of bounds on the full. It doesn't quite come together. All he can do is smile and pretend that didn't hurt with 4 minutes 50 to go.
You've got to hold your nerve and make good decisions from here. Coleman out of the back pocket. He's going to switch across the face of goal. It's expansive. It bounces up to McCluggage. Brings it outside the defensive area. Shorts it to Berry. He takes some sacrificial running to create the play from here. Berry holds it up at right half-back. Now he's told to get things moving. He's kicking into centre field. High risk, high reward. Zorko takes the mark. Confronted by Bolton. Gets it off to Starcevic. Now to Coleman. The Lions with purpose. Up to full forward. Hipwood got rid of his man. Couldn't get to the ball though. Cameron plays in front. Gathers. Gives it to Bailey. Floats it to the teeth of goal. Danaher. McCarthy!
Free kick!
Oh, Richmond free kick. Against Danaher for the unrealistic leap into the pack. It's a push in the back. Oh, Lions fans will blue about it.
Oh, they will.
They might blue about it all summer.
Yeah, out to Vostern quickly. Tarrant kicks long to Lynch. We'll get back to it. Under 4 to go. Lynch has taken the mark on the wing. Brisbane have to put it out of their mind. Crowd still stewing over it. Lynch, eyes darting into the forward 50. Goes for Rioli, an unusual target, but he gave a big shove. But he's been paid the mark! And he's kicked it quickly, but in a rush, it won't get there. Pryor steps in. And he hand passes to Rich, who has nothing on the horizon whatsoever. That's going to need all his experience and all his skill to give him a chance. It's coming back. Why is it coming back?
Did he run too far?
Yes, he did. Oh, that's another big call from the umpire, going Richmond's way late. And it's going to Shane Edwards, who's 70 metres out. 3 minutes 10 now. Richmond lead by 3. He goes short, didn't have to kick it inside, and he realised that. To Flostone. He'll take all his time and take another 15 metres as he finds short, and he is almost within range. Is it worth it? Does he take the shot? Does he go for broke? Does he give it everything? Don't think he made the contact he was after. It fell short. Lynch! It dropped short, and there was nothing Harris Andrews could do, legally or illegally. Lynch ran it a split second quicker. The dropping ball lands in the hands of the man who was dragged out of Queensland as the prize recruit. And now on a steamy, warm, beautiful September night at the Gabba, an elimination final where only one team will see tomorrow. Tom Lynch kicks a goal! Or does he?
Oh, wow.
It's going to be reviewed. He's walking away. The umpire thinks it's a goal. Extend the tension. We're going for a review.
Sleep better with Spinalese pillows, on sale now at spinaleseeddie.com.au. It is so close to the top of the post.
Yeah, I don't see how they can call it unless there's something on the edge.
No, well, it's whether it's above the post, isn't it?
Yeah, so how do you call that?
It'll be umpire's call. That's inconclusive.
It's given a behind.
Behind.
I've heard that a lot. That's inconclusive, but it's been overruled.
Wow.
It was like a dot on top of the eye.
So once down the field for the Lions as a result. Rich goes right into the centre. McStay tried to knock it on. Nankervis played volleyball the other way. Kneels onto the foot. He couldn't quite haul it in. Pickett disputes it with him. It spills the way of Matheson. Off to Coleman. Got his kick away. Full-chested McStay. Gathers. Got it off to McCluggage. Then to Neil in such close confines. Batted on by Zorko. Starcevic offloaded by Morris Rioli. Zorko off the ground. Bolton was desperate. Still in Lions' clutches. Hipwood to Coleman. Found some space. Kicked. And Bailey took the mark. Against the boundary. 50 out from goal. Inside the final 90 seconds. It is the most difficult kick on the field. Zach Bailey wheels in, gives it his best. It's not quite enough. Tigers have numbers. Danaher snaffled the goal in the square. Richmond had all their timber, and Danaher flung a boot at it. Got it over the line, and the Lions lead with a minute to go. It has been the most dramatic 3 minutes of play. Wild fluctuations, controversial decisions. But Joe Call in the square pokes it through. The Lions lead it by 2. It was touched by Sonsi on the mark. That's why it fell in short. And you could barely believe, with so much representation, that Danaher could find a way to get it over.
You only need a moment, don't you? How did he get his boot to it? He just bobbed up in the right spot at the right time. That was all it was.
Brisbane by 2. The last 60 seconds. of a magnificent elimination final. Nankervis wasn't quite confident to take it away. Matheson, the battering ram. A hand pass. First crack for the Lions. It gets to the 50. It can't get any further. The sheer weight and mass of humanity prevails. It now says 49 seconds on the clock, which stops. Lions call more of their troops up around the footy. It's batted away. Sonsi can't. It's towed. Bolton descends on the ball, but he's tackled by Neil. Heroically, Bailey goes again, dribbles a kick forward, and they can't get it any further than the wing. We're down to 36 seconds now.
Brisbane generating a spare here, dropping the number back.
Nankervis tapped it to the outside, sliding in Bailey. Can they get it started? A bit of a standoff. McStay, important territory. We're inside 50 with 25 seconds to go. Broad, across the ground. This is the play for the Tigers. McIntosh in the back pocket. Can he get there? Time's against them. Not sure where to go. He's found a chest to Bolter. They've got so much ground to cover. So little time. Rioli, siren! Brisbane, somehow they do it. They've turned the table on the Tigers.
We are the pride of Brisbane town. We wear maroon, blue and gold. We will always fight for victory, like the Troy and Bears of old. All for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions. We'll kick the winning score. You'll hear a mighty roar.
Oh, what scenes. That is an amazing win by the Brisbane Lions. Chris Fagan looks like he's been wrung out. And it's just so, what an incredible result for the Lions. It was just pandemonium, not so much in the stands, but on the ground there were so many things.
There's so many moments in that to try to make sense of. The 15th lead change was the decisive one.
And then the last 60 seconds, nothing actually happened after all of that. Richmond didn't really get it together, did they, to get that last shot at it. But what a win.
Think back over the heartache of semi-final losses against the Giants and the Bulldogs. And finally, Chris Fagan's team is on the right side of a thriller in a final at the Gabba. And they've finished off Richmond and 6 other teams.
A sigh of relief.
A sigh of relief, I'm sure. What a game. So scores were level at quarter time. Richmond led by 6 at half time, 5 at three-quarter time. And the Lions win it by 2 at the end. 16-10, 106 Brisbane to Richmond 16-8, 104. 35,013 will never forget it. The goal kickers, 3 each for Danaher, Cameron and Hipwood. They got singles out of Robertson, Archie, McCluggage, McCarthy, McStay, Bailey and Wilmot. For Richmond, 3 for Revolt, 3 for Lynch and 2 for Bolton. And they had singles to Martin, Ross, Koch and Rioli. McIntosh, Cumberland, Sonsi and Morris Rioli. So both Riolis with goals.
And it's the end for Shane Edwards. Brisbane players, plenty of them going to him too, realising it. Going out as the sub.
Well, Brad Miller, just give us your initial impression about how that happened.
Just the game was in the balance, and I saw a couple of the Brisbane leaders and key personnel just stand up. Lockie Neal was outstanding, about 4 stoppages and contests in a row. Hugh McCluggage's balance and composure to use the footy. We end up with a Zach Bailey mark out there. All of their cream rose to the top, and they were able to capitalise on those moments. And Joey Danaher just bobbed up. That ball, for it to bounce the way that it did and end up a metre out from goal and not get rushed through and just land in his arms to be able to do that was unbelievable.
So Edwards is hoisted up on shoulders. Jack Revolt and Trent Codson, who have shared so much with Shane Edwards. His place in Tiger folklore is well assured by the 303 games against his name. He was required at length tonight as the sub, but it's retirement for him as Richmond go into oblivion. Oh, they will feel that will be hard to comprehend. I think for them. They will feel like they had control of, despite the fact there were 15 lead changes, they'll feel like they had control of the flow of it for good portions. And all credit to the Lions is they were right up against it in the third quarter. They were chasing the game for so long in the last quarter. They had a couple of things go against them and still managed to conjure the goal. And the man who altered their fortune, Zach Bailey, plays a critical role in it.
One of the best games I've seen him play, and for them to be able to withstand such a barrage in that third quarter, time in forward half would have been through the roof, and they were just able to hold up enough to give himself a chance. And then, that last quarter was just the lead changes were back and forth. It was like a game of tennis.
Couple of big, long, prolonged hugs between both Lockie Neal and also Dane Zorko and the coach there. A bit of emotion in that.
Absolutely. For weeks.
And Charlie Cameron, both with and without the ball, some big moments, didn't he? Kicked 3 goals, but a tap and a few of his tackles and the pressure he applied, which we talked about pre-game.
So just help me understand the score review.
Yeah, I can't.
So do we feel like the goal umpire, his call was a goal?
So the umpire definitely said put the 2 hands up.
And it was overruled on the basis that it was up over the top of the post, which you can if you want to, except that how real is that? Like, how real is that shot and the depth perception of it, and where it's paused, where is the ball in relation to it?
I don't see how you could possibly overrule that.
So you definitively go that ball would have hit a higher post.
So Lynch didn't react. The feedback I'm seeing, Lynch didn't react like it was a goal, but still don't know how it could be overturned.
Yeah. So it has to be comprehensive and complete evidence that it was a behind to be overruled.
Yeah.
So not enough that it felt like it went over the post, but that's not enough. It has to umpire's call.
And it was relatively quick too, wasn't it?
I think we set ourselves up with a system that has inherent failures in it. And at a moment where you might just simply default to the umpire who's on the spot, watching it in real time, you'd have to check his positioning, but he's entrusted to make the call and then you overrule it. And it materially determines the game. I'm going to take a little bit of convincing on that to go over it and over it and over it.
We need to see it again and hear the explanation, I guess.
But these are great scenes for the Lions. Their players have spread out to all corners of the Gabba. These fans have endured a lot here in finals. We well know that they'd lost 5 of their 6 finals. The majority of them had been on this ground. And I think for Passages, most would have felt the dread that it was going to happen again. But this time they're able to be on the right side of it and be celebrating with the locals. 35,013. There was such a strong Richmond representation here. They'll fly back to Melbourne pretty empty. For the local fans, it's a brilliant moment for them. And it probably is. I know the Fags won a qualifying final against Richmond, but for all that was stitched into this game, for the adversity, for the Fagan era, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'd be his most proudest win, I reckon. The players they didn't have before the game, they lost their ruckman early. Obviously, Richmond losing Presti was probably pretty telling in the end as Brisbane, some of those mids are able to lift, and Lockie Neal just played a hell of a game. But you could sense that others came with him, which is what we talked about they needed to do.
Absolutely. I think the Lions coaching staff will sit in the room after, once the emotions sort of died down, and pride will be the main emotion that they feel. But when you talk about a finals record like we've spoken about up here, it is the elephant in the room. And while Chris would play it down in the media, and it is something that would grow legs, and if another result went against them, it only becomes bigger. So for the result to go their way, I think it's just so important for that playing group to shake that off their back.
And Fakes is on the mic, revving up the local fans. I reckon he held himself together during the week. He would have loved to have bitten back harder against the negativity that was swirling towards them. The only way to do it is to go out and win, and they've got it. Unbelievable win. You can hear him there. It's great stuff. Charlie Cameron posing for selfies. Damien Hardwick still in the box.
Yep.
Just trying to make sense of it all.
Well, they've had their fair share of this year, haven't they, Richmond? They've had a bit of everything, but they've had some heartache losses, that's for sure.
Yep, they have.
The Oscar McInerney week becomes really fascinating now about his recovery and whether he's right to go.
Well, if he was ruled out with concussion, he's done.
Yeah, so we have to assume that's what it was because the decision came so quickly. So that's 12 days, and that's no semi-final for him.
Against either Sydney or Melbourne, isn't it?
Sydney or Melbourne, yep. So the Lions head down into the rooms. There's one more rendition of song, The Stands. It'll have plenty in it underneath when they form up into that circle. Oh yeah, there are wildly happy scenes, and well there might be at the end of a cutthroat final like that. And maybe none more exuberant than the 18-year-old Darcy Wilmot, who kicked a goal and then had a moment that he would have liked back. So he's lived the whole experience, I think, tonight. The highs and the lows, and then the ultimate elation at the end of it. At the other end of things, Dane Zorko, the captain, after his two tumultuous broad. He leads his side, Jerry. Wilmot's got a little bit about him, hasn't he? He's in the middle of that circle.
Yeah.
He's amping it up like few others. So we'll settle in and take the song, and then we'll start to work through how it all unfolded.
It's the most lead changes ever in a final.
In a final, wow. The Lions go on in 2022. The final score at the Gabba, 16-10, 106 Brisbane over Richmond, 16-8, 104. It's quite an elimination final, which will be spoken about throughout the weekend and debated, I'm sure, ferociously right now as the fans are let onto the ground here at the Gabba. It's a celebratory night in Brisbane.
Booked a holiday? Visiting friends interstate? Melbourne Airport is happy to be welcoming travellers back. Nothing beats the convenience, flexibility and great value when you park at Melbourne Airport. From just $12 a day, the Value Car Park offers exceptional value. And only a few minutes walk to check in, Melbourne Airport's Terminal Car Park offers absolute convenience. Park with ease and peace of mind with Melbourne Airport. Book online today and save at melbourneairport.com.au.
This Father's Day, give dads what they really want.
Underwork socks? This is the best gift ever. Thanks, kiddo.
All Day Socks by Underworks, the single greatest gift for your dad. this Father's Day.
Wood heaters, gas log fires, factory direct. Illusion and Ultimate's biggest ever end of season mega sale with prices slashed. Wood heaters from $5.99. Gas log fires from $19.99. Dandenong, Epping and North Geelong. Illusionfires.com.au.
Total Tools is your home of low-price power tools. Milwaukee, Makita, DeWalt, Bosch. We've got all the world's biggest power tool brands covered. Kits, skins, batteries, accessories. We've got all your needs covered. Total Tools has got the biggest range of professional power tools and accessories at low prices, guaranteed. We can't be beaten now. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Footy is made up by lots of bite-sized plays. A good pass here, a nice kick there, maybe snaffling possession. But adding up all of these bite-sized plays can get you big wins. It's the same with Snaffle. Get stuff you want now and pay it off with bite-sized payments. Now that's a huge win. Snaffle. Grab a Snaffle wallet today at snaffle.com.au.
Terms, conditions, fees, charges and lending criteria apply. Credit provided by Walker Stores Proprietary Limited. Australian Credit Licence 393023.
Which oil keeps your business moving? Fleet managers with essential suppliers on a deadline? They know. Road crews who keep every motorist safe? They know. Mechanics who make sure you always get to where you're going? They know. And when you really think about it, you know. Valvoline. The original engine oil.
For those that love crisp, clean, uncomplicated refreshment, look no further than CBCO Draft. Australian-owned, Australian-made, CBCO Brewing have been crafting beer for Australian tastes since 2004. Their draft, brewed here in Victoria, is classic Aussie beer at its easy drinking best, perfect for footy finals. Now on tap at the Empress Hotel, 714 Nicholson Street, Fitzroy North. Enjoy $6 pots and $12 pints of CBCO Draft until Sunday, September 11th. CBCO Draft. Crisp, clean, uncomplicated refreshment.
18 plus only. Please drink responsibly.
Looking for a better value mobile plan? Mate! Get a range of 4G and 5G mobile plans with unlimited talk and text to standard Aussie numbers, plus 500 gigabyte data bank starting from just $20 per month. Plus, get a Tidal Hi-Fi music subscription included with selected plans. Mate! Why wait? Make the switch to Mate. Visit letsbemates.com.au or search Mate online.
Now is the time to study, gear up for the future and be job ready with Holmes Glen Institute, Australia's leading TAFE for industry collaboration. With a pre-apprented Holmes Glen, you can learn the basics in wall and floor tiling, bricklaying, carpentry, painting and decorating and much more. Or pick a free TAFE construction pathways course to get a taste of a variety of trades in the one course. Apply now at holmesglen.edu.au RTO 0416.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
A rollicking elimination final at the Gabba sees the Brisbane Lions prevail by 2 points. The 15th lead change off the boot of Joe Danaher proves to be the decisive one. It ends the season of Richmond. There's so much to debate in the aftermath of it, but the local fans are out on the Gabba having kick to kick and basking in glory. The team goes on, and probably not since Anthony Rocker's kick up over the post in 2002 in that grand final has there been quite such a contentious shot at goal. Is called a goal by the umpire on the field, overruled from the arc with the ball up over the post. The two-dimensional image enough to be decisively overruling. So that's going to be some sort of debate. Here's Chris Fagan out on the field with Abby Holmes on the Channel 7 coverage in Victory.
Chris Fagan, he's asking me if I can believe that. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that. What a game of football that was. Fair dinkum. Well, our blokes just stuck at it all night, didn't they? And they wouldn't go away. You know, you think about it, we lose our ruckman in the first 2 minutes. And we found a way. I'm so pleased for this group because we've been under a lot of pressure about our finals record. We were really brave tonight, and we can hold our heads up high as can Richmond. It was a super game.
How good is September? And another sellout here at the Gabba. Third game in a row. This is unbelievable scenes down here.
Yeah, it is. If it's going to be like this all September, the AFL is going to be pretty happy. But no, brilliant for our fans. You know, we've clocked up 43,000 members this week, which is brilliant for our club. And from the turn up tonight and see that after a disappointing performance against Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, it's I'm really pleased for them.
Right on, Fags. We'll see you next week.
Thanks very much.
Brilliant. The emotion is raw,
surging, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the coaches would be feeling it every bit as much as the players, Brad.
Oh, to see as animated as I've seen Chris there, like that's genuine happiness, that's relief, that's pride, everything that he just spoke about. But to shake that intangible feeling of not winning a final, particularly at home, having multiple finals here and falling short, being able to do that without a ruckman when the nucleus of how you play is your stoppage game, he must just be filled with pride of what they were able to achieve.
The final score for Macca's catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today, 16-10 106 Brisbane over Richmond, 16-8 104. Our post-game wrap for Coates, we're more than higher, we're equipped for anything. Yes, well, we might tell the story of the game through a few of these. Maybe the statistical analysis in a wildly seesawing game. So the Lions had 336 disposals to 320. The inside 50s were Richmond's way, 63 to 59. The free kicks, Brisbane, 22 to 18. The hit-outs, Richmond, 55 to 16. So Nankervis was able to do as he pleased in the ruck, and some he hit out and some he just took clean. But the clearances were the Lions' way, 47-41. Out of the middle, Richmond was 19 to 12. But I think when we see the centre bounce scores, is they were going to be heavily in the Lions' favour. As they might have only got 12 centre clearances, but I feel like they scored from a fair few of those. The contested possession, the Lions won 149 to 144. The marks, Richmond 88 to 64. The marks inside 50, Richmond 17 to 8.
That's telling. So they're number 1 and 2. Oh, sorry, not 1 and 2, but they're very close. They take 14 marks inside 50 most weeks. So for that to be such a factor, I think, and Brisbane to still win the game, when Vlaston's free like that and they've got an extra to deal with, it takes the ability to win special contests. And when we saw Charlie Cameron, we see Zach Bailey win contests that they shouldn't when they're outnumbered, that allows you to score those goals. So they didn't mark it because they were dealing with that extra and a lot of pressure from Richmond. But for them to be able to still score in that mode is that's a different way to score for them, and that's something that Fags will be really happy with.
The tackles 56 to 45 in the Lions' favour is probably the last of those numbers, and some of the individuals, which we'll get to when we cast some votes a little later on. Lachie Neale ended up with 39.
He was extraordinary, particularly in the last, like I said before, the last 6 or 7 minutes. You could just see him will himself to get from contest to contest. Even the ones that he didn't actually get a possession, he just threw himself on a boot, or you could see he was going as hard as anyone just to try and will himself to the next contest.
McCluggage 26, Bailey 24, McStay 23, Zorko 21. Nankervis led the way for Richmond because of the way that he played in the ruck. He had 26, Ross had 23, Pickett had 23, and Flostone, who was tremendous, had 21. Short had 20. They didn't get a lot out of Dustin Martin. 15, and he was clearly underdone. He couldn't get into it up forward, and the most he threatened was he went into the centre square at a couple of stages and got a couple of decent clearances. And Cochin was interesting. Cochin had 14 and was never really a factor either.
No, it wasn't really a factor. I think Damien said through the week that he would have taken an 80% Dustin Martin. I think we saw about a 75-80% Dustin Martin tonight. Good early, won a couple of contests, but really faded out of it as the game went on.
Yeah, the Cochin one's interesting, isn't it? Because he's come in with really good form, and he still did some nice things, but just not enough of them.
Yeah, that's right. He kicked a really nice goal, the one that we saw early, but I didn't think he was a factor. Thought maybe he could have gone to Lachie Neale at certain stages around stoppage to try and clean him up.
Yeah, I thought he had. I don't know whether he did or not, but it wasn't apparent, was it, most of the time? Neale seemed to be running his own race.
Still got a lot of the footy, yeah.
The MEGT Rookie of the Night, your local apprenticeship experts. It's worth just spending a little bit of time on the youngsters in this game. So Tyler Sonsi, in his 7th game, I mean, he has immense promise, doesn't he?
That's unbelievable that it's only his 7th game. He played with a real maturity. Didn't see him make many blues, but his ability to accumulate the footy and then do something with it, that's, he's going to be a player.
There's a bit of an aura around Maurice Rioli and the way he plays as he reaches his 17th game.
What he does is he actually gets guys looking over their shoulder, so you're always not feeling that comfortable when you've got the footy and you're not facing your goal, because the speed at which he can close down and tackle, you just got to always feel his presence around, which is, his cousin did something very similar. Like the best do that, the guys with speed, they just make you hurry your disposal that little bit more.
Ben Miller knows how to use his bulk. He's only starting out on his journey. We always say, Ruckman, take a while. The raw materials are there.
Absolutely, and the speed that he's got for such a big guy. I saw him close an outlet on Dan McStay at one stage on the wing, and he covered about 45, 50 metres really, really quickly. For a big guy, he moves really well.
And Noah Cumberland has shown his worth across his games. He had a couple of moments tonight, but not as influential as he has been.
No, he kicked 5 goals the last time these guys met at the MCG, so he wasn't as prolific as that, but he definitely still moves with intensity and gets separation and is quite a powerful unit for someone who's not that tall.
And Darcy Wilmot on debut. His first half was excellent. I'm not sure that he was much seen after that.
No, he had a terrific moment. That goal, to be able to kick that under such pressure was terrific. Great for his family.
He had that little fumble or the drop mark late in the game, which led to did it lead to a goal or did Lynch miss the shot? Was that one? I can't remember. Yeah, that could have come back to haunt him.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think he'll go rest his head on the pillow tonight, thinking about his 6 points quite happily.
If you're going to pick one, would it be Tyler Sonsi out of this game?
I think it has to be, yeah, for the amount of footy that he got and what he did with it. Wilmot would have pushed him in the first half, but I think he faded in the second half. Sonsi was able to keep going.
The MEGT Rookie of the Day, supporting employers and apprentices for more than 40 years. It's a lovely scene at the Gabba as they're out playing kick-to-kick after an elimination final. They're about to start to be rounded up. The Lions have won by 2 points over the Tigers and finished Richmond off. We've got more to come. There will be talkback callers, I'm sure.